If you're a proxy, can you just say your name? Thank you. Annabelle Ibanez,
Present.
Jane Kim, Leah Lacroix, Susie Loftus,
Here.
Lee Meow Lovett,
Here.
Carolina Morales,
Here.
Honey Mahogany,
Here.
Raphael Mandelman, Gordon Marr,
Here by proxy, Edward Wright.
Foga Maliga,
I think there's a proxy coming.
okay, Mano Raju, Hillary Ronan,
Here. Sorry about that.
sorry, oh, Mano, you're here. Yep, Hillary Ronan,
Santiago Ledema, proxy for Hillary Ronan.
thank you, Santiago. AJ Thomas,
Here.
great. Nancy Tung,
Here.
Chanel Williams. On to ex officio, U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Proxy Kathleen McDonough here.
Great. Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Here by proxy, Gary McCoy.
Great. Representative Jackie Spear. Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis.
She's excused.
Okay.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID.
Whoever that is. State Treasurer Fiona Ma.
Sorry, here by proxy, Isabel Malouf.
Enter your participant ID.
For your equalization member, Malia Cohen.
Otherwise, just press pound to continue.
I think there's a proxy for Malia Cohen, isn't there?
Yeah, I saw,
Yes.
I saw.
The meeting as a panelist.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Here by proxy for Malia, I'm Tyra Chanel.
Recorded.
And Karima, can I ask some help for muting whoever that is?
Yeah, I
Thank
don't
you.
know who that is, so that's why it's hard.
Is there State Senator Scott Wiener?
Here, Matthew Rothschild.
Great. Assembly Member Phil Ting?
Here by proxy, Mark Checklow.
Thanks. Assembly Member David Chu?
Here by proxy, Katie McKenzie.
Great. And I'm going to circle back through some people who might have joined. Jane Kim? Leah Lacroix? Raphael Mandelman? Foga Maliga? And then Chanel, I see you here.
Here.
Great, thanks. And we have quorum.
Thank you, and thank you again to our recording secretary. It's not easy to do this, so we appreciate it. We'll now move on to item number 2, which is the approval of the meeting agenda. And before you have the meeting agenda, and let me say that I have an amendment. The amendment that I have is to withdraw item 10 from the agenda. And the item 10 is a resolution that I had introduced along with a number of folks that dealt with a budget issue at the state legislature. And the reason that I am withdrawing the resolution is because there was a budget deal that was just reached that essentially addresses the issue for the time being. And because of that, I think it makes sense to withdraw the resolution at this point. But let me say that we have not fully resolved the issue, that it is possible, depending on what happens, that the issue comes back to us. And if that's the case, I will bring the resolution back. But the long and short of it is that we have, as a city, relied on what is called excess ERAF money to the tune of close to $200 million a year. And the state of California, even though we have relied on auditing of those funds by the state controller, wanted to take it back. And that would have been a catastrophic thing in light of our budget deficit. And I am especially grateful to Scott Wiener and David Chu within our delegation who fought against that. And it actually, the big push here came from President Pro Tem Tony Atkins, who kind of came in and saved the day for San Francisco and other counties. So grateful for that. So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with that amendment. Is there a
And
second?
sorry, that you're actually referring to item number 9 and not 10, just as a correction.
Okay.
And thank you, Brandon.
Okay, so it's number 9. So it's the resolution regarding the ERAF. So I would make a motion to amend to approve the agenda with that amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Member Duffy. Is there any other amendment to the agenda? So without any other motion, can we take that without objection? Without objection, the agenda is amended. We'll now move on to item number 3, which is the approval of the May meeting minutes. And I know that there are a couple of changes or amendments that will be made. So we have the minutes before us. Let me just take a motion to approve the minutes first. So if we can have a motion to approve the minutes and then we'll amend it.
So moved.
Motion by Duffy,
Second.
seconded by Loftus. And now we'll take motions to amend. I know that Member Lovett had a motion, an amendment.
Right. So this was just a correction based on the record. Specifically, when I looked through the video recording of the May meeting, when the resolution with regard to Bayview Hunters Point and environmental justice came up, that I had proposed an amendment which when there was a vote that was called, question that was called, then I think it was Member Mahogany who had clarified, is this with the amendment? And that was clarified, it was with the amendment, so that the vote in favor of 18, and then there were a number of abstentions, was for that resolution with the amendment. So it was basically a correction to the 10-day notice so that the 72-hour agenda reflected what had happened in the meeting.
So Member Lovett, I know that there are a couple of other people who want to speak. Can you just read the proposed amendment or the language that you want to amend to correct the record? What does it say?
Sure, let me, hold on, let me go.
And I know that you have given it to the recording secretary, but I just want to make sure that we have that for members of the audience that are watching.
Mayor Campos, can I say something?
Yeah, can you just, I just want to make sure that I have the motion on the floor first, and then I'll recognize you.
Sure, so the motion, so my ask is to correct the minutes so that it says motion to approve resolution with amendment in the first be it resolved to replace quote, to stop all construction, end quote, with quote, to ensure that construction remain on hold on all sites.
Okay, so that's a motion. Can we have a second to that motion and then we'll take comments? Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, second by Member Ibanez. And then I'll recognize Member Ibanez. And then I think Member Barry also had a comment. So Member Ibanez. Member Ibanez, you're recognized.
Yeah, I was going to say, as the secretary recording, as one of the secretaries, I actually did take Member Lovett's recommendation and did make a correction to what she had suggested to when I put the agenda together for the 72-hour announcement. So I just wanted to make sure that when Member Lovett requested for this change to be made and where she wanted to be made, I believe that I made that change already. And I hope we can review that to make sure that it reflects what Member Lovett was asking for. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Member Ibanez. Member Barry.
Yes, I'm not positive this makes a difference on this amendment because breaking news, there was earth moving construction equipment at the shipyard last week. So maybe we can discuss whether we should go forward with that amendment that I'm not sure was voted on or was included in the vote to pass the resolution.
Well, let me say that I think that we're only here to discuss whether or not the amendment reflects the record of what happened, whether or not it makes a difference or makes sense. That's a separate issue. So we're only here to discuss whether or not that is in fact what was voted upon. So any other comment? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Spear abstain.
Okay, Spear abstains. So the motion to amend passes with respect to that amendment. And now I know that there is a second amendment regarding Member Ma. Is the proxy for Member Ma present?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to remove her abstention from the resolution supporting ACA 5.
And is that a motion to reflect the record that she in fact supported it, or to change the vote?
To change the vote.
Because I don't know sort of how that works, because the minutes reflect what happened. They don't necessarily change, they're not, the purpose of the minutes is not to change what actually happened, but just to reflect.
Got it. Cool. Then motion to remove it.
Sure. So I think that what I would suggest is that Member Ma makes it clear that even though she voted the way she voted, that she has whatever the position is to reflect that. But again, the point of minutes is to reflect what happened, not to change what happened.
Got it.
Okay. Is there any other amendment to the minutes?
There is Member Avalos, I think.
Okay, Member Avalos, my apologies. It's hard to see everyone. Member Avalos.
Thank you. I was gonna make a motion. I decided not to make it, so I'm
okay.
As they are.
So on the amended motion, can we take that without objection to amend the minutes along those lines? So without objection, we will go ahead and do that. Thank you very much. And again, thank you to our recording secretary. It's very hard to keep minutes, especially for such a long meeting. We will now go on to item number 4, which is general public comment. And unless there's an objection from the members, my understanding is that we have a large number of public speakers because we are lucky enough that there are so many clubs that are being considered for rechartering and chartering. And so that's always a very positive thing. So unless there's an objection, I'm going to limit public comment to 1 minute. And the reason for that is that the one thing that I don't want to do, as much as I don't want to limit public comment, is lose a quorum. So why don't we proceed now with public comment? We're going to limit public comment from each speaker to 1 minute, and I'll turn it over to our Executive Director, Karima Lynch.
Hi, everyone. For members of the public, please use the function raise hand. Like this, I can see you and can bring you on the side of the panelists. As the chair Campos said, you have a minute. So I'm going to start with Gabriela Ruiz. There we go.
Go ahead, Gabriela.
Hi, members of the committee. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Gabriela Ruiz. I'm the co-president of Latinx Young Democrats. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Just want to give you all a brief bio of who I am before I present the mission of the club, and our other co-president, Camila Mena, is going to explain the vision to you all. but I am a San Francisco native, born and raised, graduate from San Francisco State University and recent graduate of University of San Francisco in Public Affairs. And most of my experience has been in community work, working in the Mission District with Jamestown Community Center in youth development. And now I have the privilege and opportunity to do policy and planning work in the Tenderloin community. So just to give you a brief overview of the mission of Latinx Young Democrats, it is to engage young Latinx folks effectively in public service to ensure our community's socioeconomic and ecological development, as well as create pathways to leadership, education, and resources. To empower Latinx youth to work in solidarity with other marginalized and oppressed communities to move towards the communal dream of self-actualization and liberation, and to inform and activate the Latinx community through the leadership of our young people in the San Francisco Bay Area to drive systemic change through policy and political means. We have a lot of members here today.
Time is almost up, Gabriela.
Thank you so much. And we're super excited to be here and we hope to have your support. Thank you so much.
Thank
you very much, Gabriela. Next speaker, who would that be, Karima?
Next speaker, Kevin Ortiz.
Kevin Ortiz.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, can you see?
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Hello, everyone. So good to see all of you. I'm an associate delegate to the California Democratic Party, and I will be invoking my privileges as a delegate. The first thing I want to say is, hi, Gary. Second off is I'm really excited here today to be as the vice president of the Latinx Young Democrats, a brand new organization that is focused on really empowering and educating our young folks to really step up into the next, really building an organizational presence for our community. We know that, the Latinx community is 15% of the population, and we've seen firsthand that, it is a sleeping giant when it comes to the voting populace, and we need to activate that voting populace. And we know that most movements and a lot of really powerful movements begin with young people. So, we're really excited to have done this from the ground up in a really collaborative, grassroots kind of process. The point of the Democratic Party is to extend the voice of the Democratic Party into the community. And so if you look at the members of our club that you'll see today, it's led by, and mostly folks from the community, people that have never actually been part of the Democratic Party before, but are excited to come and built this directly from the ground up when it comes to our FPPC, our website, our logos, our social medias, our bank accounts. All of this has been done from the ground up, and we're really, really excited to have the opportunity to really make some waves in the party. If you actually look at, how we've actually really just have been moving, we have already put out 3 statements, as well as had a Democratic debate as of last night with all 7 of the District 7 debate candidates. And it's really, really empowering to see how much of our young folks have really just come together during this time. So, I'm excited to be officially here asking for the support of the party to come and charter us. And I really, we're not afraid to be bold. We're here to really, demand a seat at the table. And if you look at the folks that have come, it's just, I'm at a loss for words, but, I'm just very excited to be here with you all. And, this is our third DCCC meeting that we've actually organized and showed up for. So, we hope today to humbly ask for your support of the party. And we're also happy to answer any questions as they arise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Karima, next speaker. And Karima, if you may warn people when they have 15 seconds left, so that just to give them a sense of how much time they have. Thank you.
Sure, I will. Next speaker, Camila Andrea Mena.
Camila?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Camila Andrea Mena. I am a founding member and co-president of the Latinx Young Democrats, and I am here to request your approval of our club's chartering. And I'll give you a little bit about me. I am originally from Colombia. My family requested political asylum in the US in 2004, and we moved to California. I've been blessed to call San Francisco my home since I was 14. So I hold the city really closely to my heart. I hold a bachelor's degree in sociology from UC Berkeley and recently graduated from USF with a master's in urban and public affairs. I am currently a program and data fellow at the Latino Community Foundation, and I'm also a shaper through the San Francisco Global Hub of Global Shapers. You already heard
Your
from
time
me.
is almost done.
Quickly, we have a three-part mission. First one being, to engage young Latinx folks in the city to engage in public service, simultaneously also to empower them to work in solidarity with other marginalized and oppressed groups here in the city to move towards the dream of, self-actualization and liberation. And the last one is to inform and activate the Latinx community through leadership of our young people here in the Bay Area and San Francisco specifically, in order to drive systemic change. I really hope that you all approve our chartering. This has been an amazing journey that I've been on board with the folks that have participating in the funding of this club. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Camila.
you. Oh, sorry. Next speaker, Luis Avalos.
Is Luis Avalos there?
He's
Go ahead,
coming.
Luis. I think you have, yes.
Hi, good evening, fellow members of the DCCC. My name is Luis Avalos. I am a DACA recipient and a 20-year resident of San Francisco. I'm here to once again humbly ask you to support the Latinx Young Democrats. We had a very phenomenal and very successful district debate last night. We're really excited to keep having these kinds of events for young people within the Latinx community to plug in. California has recently determined that Latinos make up close to the 40th percent of the populace, and it's only been projected to keep increasing. And I say this to just emphasize the urgency for these kinds of spaces to be available for young people to plug in. When I think of tragedies like what happened at the Pulse nightclub and in El Paso, they're very poignant reminders of just how much more work needs to be done in order to create a more perfect union. And I think this is a step in the right direction. And so I humbly ask you for your support, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Luis. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis.
Karima, who's next?
Next speaker, Suzanne Chen from Swing Left.
Great. Suzanne? Susan?
Okay.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again and having Swing Left. I just want to thank Peter Galata and Susie Loftus and Karima and Chair Campos for continuing to support us and even showing all of our events on your landing page, which is fantastic. And we are still working away in the Central Valley. And tomorrow, actually, we're having a general meeting highlighting the voter suppression actually in Central Valley and Kings County in particular. So California is not exempt from voter suppression. And Pedro Ramirez, who is actually undocumented, but also a labor organizer from the Central Valley, is going to join us. We're continuing to phone bank and postcard. And in July, working with the campaign of TJ Cox in District 21, we're going to start texting for him. In addition, in the middle of July now, we are going to have a resistance groups roundtable where we can talk to other groups and figure out how we can best amplify all of our efforts collectively to flip every open seat that there is. And lastly, I just want you all to encourage you all to encourage your constituents to answer the census questionnaire. San Francisco is behind, as is Los Angeles and other districts. Most districts are behind 2010, and as we all know, it's very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan.
Next speaker, Sarah Souza.
And Sarah is president of the Latino Democratic Club, so she can speak longer. Hello, Sarah, and congratulations on your amazing work in putting a charter on the ballot. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Democrats. I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you for all your great work, Karima and Chair Campos and everyone here. First, I would like to remind you that, we're amid COVID-19 and in the middle of a movement for justice and racial equity. So I'm here today to ask you for your support for the Aspiring Citizens Amendment resolution. It would be an honor to have you passing this resolution tonight, even though it already has been unanimous passed on the Board of Supervisors, so it's officially on the ballot. As a proud Democrat myself and a dreamer, it's important for me to have your support and work with you to ensure that we are building equitable representation in San Francisco. Thank you, sponsor Annabelle Ibanez, for your leadership. And again, thank you, Chair Campos, for supporting this effort. I'm really excited, even though we are facing xenophobic and racism. We are actually making history in San Francisco. The Aspiring Citizens will not only benefit immigrants, it will benefit the LGBTQ community, making it more inclusive, ensuring that everyone is represented and have a seat at the table. This is about democracy. Also, it will benefit youth. If Vote 16 passes, undocumented youth will be able to be appointed to commissions. So again, I ask you for your support, and I hope we have a unanimous vote tonight for the Aspiring Citizens Resolution. And you can find out more information about our work and our campaign on commissionsforall.com. We have an initial version of our website and hope that we can continue work with you to win in November and celebrate. Secondly, I'm here to support the Latinx Young Dems. As you know, last week we celebrated the DACA decision, and I'm very pleased. Also, the LGBTQ decision and sanctuary. We're celebrating, we're making history at the same time. So the Latinx Young Dems were key in organizing the celebration with key labor groups. I've been working closely with this amazing group of young people, Kevin Ortiz, Camila, and others, Luis. They have shown commitment. I ask you, please charter their club. They have the infrastructure. They're ready to work. They need your support. This is about building a pipeline of Democrats and representation of Black and Brown. This is a time that we work together, that we unified our strengths to challenge the status quo and win in November. This is about winning for our people and Blue Wave. So again, thank you for your time. I don't want to take more of your time. I know you have multiple comments tonight, but just want to express my gratitude, and I look forward to working with you to winning in November and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Karima,
you, Sarah.
speaker.
Next speaker, Brandon Arami.
Brandon.
Brandon, where are you?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. I apologize about this, but you're gonna have every president in the city on call tonight, so I'm gonna use my associate member privilege that I might go a little over, so I'm using it just in case. Hi, Gary. So good evening, fellow San Francisco Democrats. My name is Brandon Harami, he, him, his. I'm co-chair of the San Francisco Bernie-crats and one of your appointed delegates. I first wanted to just, urge you to ensure that all the clubs that filed all their paperwork correctly and did all the right things get chartered tonight, regardless of where they kind of stand in the political aisle. But I especially want to stress the importance of the Latinx Young Dems. The San Francisco Bernie-crats are very supportive of their chartering. We're officially supportive. You probably got a letter from us, but Even more so, watching the debate they held last night for District 7, I was extremely impressed about how well organized it was, how well done it was. For it to be the first event of a new Democratic Club was pretty phenomenal, and I would love to see a little bit more of that. So I hope you all make sure that happens. Second, I'm going to try to make this really quick. I wanted to just kind of go over a little bit over some Black Lives Matter related items. Firstly, I want to urge you to pass the resolution in support of the Black to the Future Fund, as it is important that we adopt a Black agenda and fight for the rights of Black folks who have been harmed by our city, state, and federal government. So please, please, please pass that this evening. We passed something similar in the city of Oakland. Secondly, I am urging our party to kind of follow a national trend and reject any future donations from the Police Officers Association or the BAD DSA, which is the Deputy Sheriff's Association, as well as sign the No Cop Money Pledge and pass bylaw amendments that commit our party to being cop free. And as part of that, I am urging every single one of you to apply the same filter to candidates that will be coming before this body for endorsements in the future, as well as looking at who has been an ally of the Police Officers Association, and looking especially at District 1 and District 11. I have only heard a commitment from Connie Chan and John Avalos to rejecting the influences of the police and defund and reinvest the money from the police department into better services. So please keep that in mind moving forward. I appreciate your time. I hope I didn't take up too much of it, and let me know if you need any help with anything. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you. Next speaker, Kia Calderup Lane.
Kia?
Hey everyone,
Kia.
nice to meet you all and see some familiar faces. I currently serve as the National Political and Federal Affairs Director at United Democratic Club. I'm a founding member. I was one of the first people to say that we needed to do the work by doing having philanthropic service be a key credential for any active member of the club back in 2016. I previously served on Hillary for America's campaign, and this year is more important than ever to take back the White House. And I'm going to be leading a lot of events on that. And I really hope that you guys will recharter us so that we can continue to do the work we did in 2018 for Red to Blue, and that you can help us flip the Senate and get back the White House this November. Thank you.
Thank you, Kia.
Thank you, Kia. Next speaker, Susan Pfeiffer.
Go ahead, Susan. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Now I'm with you. I'm going to try to get all of this in as quickly as I can. A lot to talk about. First, I want to welcome the new Nancy Pelosi interns this year. We're very excited about that. I had a great call with Karima and Peter Galata with the California Democratic Party on their coordinated campaign. You'll hear more about that going forward. Talk a little about phone banks that are going on. Susan Shane mentioned the swing left ones. Democracy Action is coordinating phone banks on Wednesday mornings at 10:30, calling it for Senate races in Arizona and North Carolina. Saturdays afternoons are the swing left phone banks that she mentioned. On Sundays, we're now phone banking for Joe Biden. We're doing capacity building in California to generate that big bad volunteer force we have here. Soon we'll be calling into other states. Texting has started. The DNC is doing texting into Florida to get people to fill out their vote by mail applications, and now into Arizona to get them to vote for Mark Kelly. And then Jamie Harrison has started doing some texting. And then for the, since I'm the e-board member for 8M19, a couple of things coming up. This Saturday, June 27th at 10 a.m. is the monthly Zoom call with Chair Rusty Hicks. And I think if anyone wants to get involved, watch that, I can share the link. And then July 11th is the second, I call it KDEM, they're now calling it KDEM Soul Talk 2. The first one was done a few weeks ago, And this is put on by the African American Caucus. It's a Zoom event and it was beautiful, the first one. A lot of speakers, some music, etc. And that will be on July 11th from 11 to probably about 1. And then the coordinated campaign phone banks are going on all over the country, and encourage you to participate. And then lastly, on voter registration, it is still on hold at the Paramount Theater. The May and June were canceled. July 15th is listed, but questionable. And they said as a result of state and local orders, the naturalization oath ceremonies scheduled for May and June, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go forward, have been canceled. All applicants will be rescheduled for another oath ceremony in the future and will receive a mail notice from the USCIS informing them of their date, time, and location of their new oath ceremony. So that's what I got tonight.
Thank you, Susan, as always, for your great work.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Karima.
Next speaker, David Goldman.
Mr. Goldman. Yep, there he is.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good evening. This is David Goldman. I'm the president of the Brownie Mary Democratic Club. We are a cannabis policy club. A little bit about my history. I moved to San Francisco to go to graduate school at San Francisco State in 1973. So I've been here 47 years. I'm a homeowner. I live in the Castro neighborhood since 1973. And I've been active in the medical cannabis movement for many years, working on Prop 215 back in 1996. I was chair of the San Francisco chapter of the National Medical Cannabis Advocacy Organization, Americans for Safe Access, from 2008 to 2013. In 2013, I became the vice president. I'm now the current president of the Brownie Mary Democratic Club. We focus on cannabis policy. Some of our recent work has been to support 3 applicants for cannabis dispensaries in San Francisco, and to the great wisdom of the Planning Commission last Thursday, all 3 were approved, 2 unanimously, and 1 only had 1 dissenting vote. We also work on the state level, especially on employment protection. Currently, under California law, being an at-will state, medical cannabis patients, as well as adult consumers of cannabis, can be fired from their jobs.
Your time is almost up, David.
Okay, and we're here to answer any of your questions about the club during section 5. And thank you very much, Democrats. We're happy to be here.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Next speaker, Christian Medina.
Christian?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Christian Medina Belts. I'm here on behalf of the Latinx Young Democrats. I am one of the communication directors over there, and I just want to call and just advocate for our chartering. I mean, we've done a lot of work, I would say, just in the past month or 2. This has been a grassroots effort by the presidents, the vice presidents, of starting this brand new organization. And even with that, we've been able to do a lot with just a few folks. I mean, just the other day, we hosted the District 7 Supervisors Candidate Debate with, kind of last minute promotion. We got over 1,000 views on Facebook. We got a lot of people interacting with us. And that just goes to show the power and
Time is almost up.
The ability that we have as a collective of young Latinos coming together. And I know that if we're able to receive your support, that we'll be able to do a lot more work within the community of San Francisco, the Mission District, and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you. A lot of people asking me if I can see you. I can see all of you raising your hands. It's a lot of people who want to do a public comment, so just be patient and soon it's going to be your turn. Next speaker, Okan Sangun.
Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Okan Şengün. I'm the executive director of the LGBT Asylum Project. I'm also a gay immigrant myself and an immigration attorney in San Francisco. I'm here to ask for your support for the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment Resolution. As the city law now stands, non-citizens residing in San Francisco cannot be appointed to city commissions, boards, and advisory councils, and I feel that this is unfair and unjust. So the Aspiring Citizens Committee is taking action to ensure San Francisco removes its current restriction on the city charter. This amendment also aims to have more modern, respectful, and inclusive language for women, people of color, and people with disabilities. San Francisco is a diverse city, and we welcome all gender identities and recognize a range of sexual orientations. So our laws should better reflect our values. This issue
Time is almost up.
Thank you. This issue affects me directly because I believe in diversity in city government, and I believe everyone should be represented. And I see firsthand the passion of the immigrant community. What so many people take for granted, immigrants celebrate. And what some view as commonplace, immigrants appreciate. So they need to have a seat at the table, and their voices need to be need to be heard now more than ever. So
thank you. Your time is up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Katie Arbona.
Hi all, thanks for having us here tonight. My name is Katie Arbona. I am the junior co-chair for the Alice B. Toklas LGBT Dem Club. My senior co-chair, David Fujimoto, is also on the call. Just wanted to ask for your support, not only in our rechartering, but in the rechartering of all the clubs here who have filled out the appropriate paperwork, sent in the appropriate $20 check. And please let us know if you have any questions about our application. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Next speaker, Noel Bonner.
Noel?
Hello?
Yes,
Hi, how are you? My name is Noel Bonner. I'm the Vice President of Events for the United Democratic Club. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the United Democratic Club this evening. I hope you will support our rechartering today. So as many of you may know, the United Democratic Club has always been focused on doing the work, from voter registration to getting out the vote for endorsed candidates to educating Democrats on civic engagement. This year, we are also recentering around our value statements, some of which include education, housing, homelessness, women's rights, veterans issues, and more. Our goal is really to bring more Democrats into conversations around important issues that are affecting our society, that they may, on the face, may not appear to be as politically focused. And in the past, that has led us to produce events like Women of Color Who Lead, The Cost of Doing Business, Can Small Business Survive? And more recently, a COVID-19 update, The State of Education in San Francisco, ICE in the Age of COVID-19. And of course, most recently on Monday, we've launched the Race Talk series to discuss
Time is almost up.
Reform. So our goal is to continue to engage Democrats in San Francisco around meaningful and important topics that are near and dear to their hearts and may, on its face value, not be as politically focused. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Next speaker, Gabrielle Medina. Gabrielle?
Go ahead, Gabriel. Mute.
Mute. There you go. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Chair Campos and members of the DCCC. My name is Gabriel Medina, and I'm a state delegate for Assembly District 19. Also Secretary of Chicano Latino Caucus and Vice President for San Francisco Latino Democratic Club. First, I want to acknowledge the strong words of my co-chair for this charter amendment, Sarah Sousa. She kind of said it all already. But still, it's important to go over a lot of the special thanks that are due. Of course, thank you, Annabelle Ibanez, for sponsoring this resolution. And also, I want to thank, of course, our sponsor, the Board of Supervisors, Shimon Walton, who, you know, without him and his staff, Tracy Brown and Natalie G, we wouldn't be introducing this. Also, President Norman Yee and his staff, Jen Lowe, and Hillary Ronan and her staff, Paul Monhay and Santiago Lerma. Just thank you all. So we're already proudly supported by La Raza Community Resource Center and Melba Maldonado, who really helped give us a foundation for this, and our parallel allies at Chinese for Affirmative Action, you know, who lead the Immigrant Parent Voting Collaborative, and Adubu with African American Advocacy Network, and Parent Voices have been also collaborating in our coalition. Harvey Milk Democratic Club, want to thank them as well. So this amendment's long overdue, but as was mentioned, it has a lot of benefits, including the ability to, if in conjunction with Vote 16, allow folks that are 16 and up to serve on commissions, as well as you know, more inclusive language for the LGBT community. More inclusive language encourages more inclusive representation. I think also this is there's a real need for this. Just some data, like over the last 10 years, we've had a decline of people of color serving on commissions from 57% in 2015 to 50% now. So I can't think of a more important time than now to have this amendment and have more leadership. So moving on, I want to also put in a good word for the San Francisco Latinx Young Democrats. They've shown a lot of leadership in putting this club together. I'm very impressed with everything they've said already. You know, Camila and Gabriela will be great presidents, and Luis and Kevin have kind of done some of this work before, and are helping out a lot. And you know, we have a real need. We've had so many things. I know LDC gave a call for action in 2014 or 2015 when there were so many issues for our Latino youth, our Latinx youth, whether it was unaccompanied minors or Mission Playground. There was just a real need for our Latinx representation. We had, back at the time, I know it's better now, but back in 2015, we didn't have a Latino board member at San Francisco Young Democrats or California College Democrats, that's a state. So we wanted to make a call to action to make sure that we could build leadership within the Latino community. And so that's what they really bring. And, you know, they're very impressive. I think they can give us all a run for money and probably teach us non-young Latinx Democrats a thing or two. So thank you all for your time, and have a good night.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you. Next speaker, Corey Smith.
Go ahead, Corey.
Good evening, everybody. Corey Smith here, speaking now as the former president of the United Democratic Club, and I know you'll hear from my predecessor later. You know, I want to actually start by talking about a lot of the great work that I think our current board has put in, and of the many things that I am really proud of looking at this current board. The majority of the elected board and the majority of the appointed board this year are female. The majority of the appointed and elected are people of color. And that means a lot. And we have a lot of work to do as a club and as a city when it comes to representation. But just speaking honestly, that was a huge improvement from where we were as a team when I took over. The other piece I really want to point out is how proud I am of the leaders coming through our club. We have city and state commissioners, we have elected officials and people running for office this November. We want to continue to do the work and respectfully request that you charter our club here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you. Next speaker, Christopher Christensen. Christopher?
Hey, Chris, go ahead.
There we go. Sorry, I just had to unmute myself. Good evening, DCCC members and chair. Hey, Gary. I'm here to speak on behalf of two items. The first one being the rechartering of all the Democratic clubs in the city, but one that is close to my heart is the new Latinx Young Democrats. They have really shown to be a force to be reckoned with within the Latin community. And it is a group of young individuals who want nothing more than to give back to their community and to educate and empower, as Kevin said, because that is the key for the Democratic Party, is to educate and empower other young individuals to go out and make a difference. And I truly believe that chartering this club tonight will make a difference in the Latinx community. Also, I'm here to speak on the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment.
Time is almost up.
Sarah has done nothing but an amazing job on it, and I really hope you support the resolution that Annabelle has put forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Amy Bernard. Amy? Up, can you?
Amy?
Hi.
Hey.
How are you? Oops, I better change that one. Sorry, I'm signed in the wrong way. I will rename myself and I will take my picture off of there because that is not what I should be doing. Sorry, I apologize. I have two separate Zoom accounts. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you and
sorry.
see you.
I have two separate Zoom accounts and apparently I'm on the wrong one. Hi, folks. I am Amy Theinart. I am president of the Bernal Heights Democratic Club. So exciting to see all the clubs coming out tonight, but especially the Young Latinx Dem Club. Unlike them, who are just being born, Bernal Heights Democratic Club's been around since 1988. We are a chartered club that represents and brings voice to mostly progressive political opinions and voices and activation in Bernal Heights. We have had a little bit of a time adjusting to the new COVID protocols and just had our first of our series of endorsement meetings by Zoom the other night, and we're glad to see a really good turnout. So I think we're going to be in good stead. And we do respectfully ask for the continuation of our charter so that we can continue to work to support electoral politics and the electoral
Time is almost
process
up.
and get the word out to voters in Bernal. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Amy. Next speaker, Kelly Lloyd.
Hello, everybody, Chair Campos and members of the DCCC. I'm the current president of the United Democratic Club. My name is Kaylee Lloyd, and I would like to use presidential privilege. Tonight, we are up for rechartering and would like to respectfully request that you continue our charter. And as we do that, I'd like to share a few highlights of how we have been serving Democrats and the party. Since the last time we were before you, we've engaged thousands of people through over 300 events that focus on political education, philanthropy, supporting Democratic candidates, informational panels, and social events for our members. Several of the members of the DCCC have been on the panels that we've hosted over the years, and we thank you for your participation in those. We have registered voters, trained new volunteers on how to phone bank and canvass for Democratic candidates, hosted fundraisers, and turned out volunteers for swing districts and states, participated in the Red to Blue efforts of 2018, and we're very excited to get involved in the efforts this year. And we co-hosted a presidential job fair last year where nearly 500 people were connected to 12 of the Democratic presidential campaigns. And we co-hosted that event with the DCCC and SFYD. Additionally, we've worked to support legislative changes, including SB 276 that helped close loopholes for vaccination requirements, as well as San Francisco's travel ban to states that restrict abortion access. And as someone before me mentioned, but it's worth noting again, we were one of the first clubs that requires our voting members to give back to the community through philanthropic efforts, because we believe that being part of our community and supporting it is also an incredibly part of our organization. What I'm most proud of is United Democratic Club's efforts to be more inclusive, to engage with folks who are new to the Democratic Party, or even maybe might not be members yet, and need some connections to show them how much we can accomplish together and why they should come hang out and join us at the party. And we also are focusing more on our civic and philanthropic responsibilities that have remained a core value. As my predecessor, Corey Smith, mentioned earlier, for the first time, our executive leadership team is made up of a majority of women and a majority of people of color. Our board is from a variety of backgrounds, works in many different industries, and we encourage everyone to share their life experiences as we help shape the future of the club so that we can be sure to take into account experiences that maybe we ourselves have not lived. Our board has worked to host events that help our communities gain deeper understanding of what is happening during COVID, the lesser known implications. For example, tomorrow night we'll be hosting a panel on how COVID and shelter in place has impacted survivors of domestic violence. And we also work to educate folks on the importance of fundamentally changing the role of police departments in the United States, advocating for reforming the institutions that have contributed to the major structural inequities that Black and Brown communities suffer disproportionately from. We will continue to raise public awareness surrounding efforts like Black Lives Matter and providing opportunities for our members and the public to continue the ongoing work of being anti-racist. As our VP of events mentioned, we've launched a new event series called Race Talks. And for any of you who are able to join us on Monday night, I think Noelle and her team and the rest of the club are going to produce some really insightful conversations through that. This committee certainly knows that this year is monumental. Democrats across the country need to work together to win back the White House, the Senate, and every down ballot and open seat available. We know that right now we have a likely once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make real lasting change to some of the problems that have been plaguing us for the last century and longer. This world is seeing at large scale how essential democratic values are, and we want to thank everyone here, in particular our ex officio members who continue to fight for our values at the state and federal level. It's important that we're also getting to show how social systems protect our most vulnerable and what it means to be out there and fighting for reshaping society that we know needs to happen. The United Democratic Club looks forward to continuing to work with each person on this committee to achieve this collective goal, and we respectively ask that you recharter us this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Thank you. Next speaker, Bubak Fondiari.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. It's a pleasure. My name is Babak Esfandiari. Thanks again, Edie, Karima Lynch, and Chair Campos for having me. I'm a VP of Political Engagement for the United Democratic Club. And I, too, am also commenting because you're rechartering a bunch of clubs, and hopefully you'll recharter all the clubs once they fill out all the paperwork and do all the right things. Mostly, I wanted to talk about how I've really enjoyed being a member of this club, how I came from doing nothing in SF politics really in 2012, 2013, right after working on President Obama's re-election campaign, to getting tapped on the shoulder by a friend to come to one of their happy hours, to volunteering at their panel discussions and events, to getting asked last year to be an appointed member doing field work. And then finally this year I was asked if I would step up and run for the board. And I've been really proud of the work that they've all done and that we continue to do. In particular, I'm really happy about the work that we've done with respect to engaging in community around things like community cleanups and volunteering in our parks, phone banking for Democrats in other districts, and in particular the work that we did to help the Virginia Democratic Party with raising money for them, and also phone banking into those delegate races in 2019. And last year as well, I was really proud of the work we did to get them out to the Navigation Center, to get the Navigation Center approved here locally. There's been a lot of work that's been done. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to yet to be done. I humbly ask that you recharter us so we can continue to do that work and work with everybody here on this committee and in all the other Democratic clubs of the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Next speaker, Katie Grove.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
It's good
Kelly.
to see you.
Hi, Kelly.
I'm Kelly. I'm president of the New Avenues Democratic Club. I'd like to invoke presidential privilege because that's something I've always wanted to do. I'm here to request that you recharter the New Avenues Democratic Club. We were founded in 2014 to give a voice to residents in San Francisco's West Side. The club is dedicated towards protecting the most vulnerable members in our community, including tenants, families, youth, seniors, people with disabilities, and more. Our club works towards these goals by supporting candidates and policies that protect and expand renters' rights, youth and senior services, education, access to transportation, safer streets, and support for local merchant corridors. We're also 100% committed to impacting national politics. We need to take back the White House. And we especially know that there's a ton of work to be done around education for this year's election is going to be all vote by mail. So request that you kindly recharter the New Avenues Democratic Club. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, Madam President.
Next speaker, I'd like to see.
I think I'm on mute. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hi.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I'm coming and speaking as a normal human. I right. I have no affiliation with anybody, by the way. And I'm not going to say who I do. You may get me confused with somebody who is running, who is known as Little Al. Make sure you express that to Little Al when she does say anything. Anyways, I'm here to just say that the Latinx Dem Club, who successfully hosted an amazing debate for District 7, are absolutely amazing, and that, you know, I support their charter and that to continue. And if this DCCC can continue that as well, that would be great. Other than that, I have not much more to say. But
right on time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do my
Next speaker, Wesley Futreser.
Hey there. My name is Wes Footracer, and I'm a City College student, but I'm also a former board member over at United Democratic Club as their Director of Youth Engagement. So I joined United Dems in 2018, fresh out of an unpaid internship, didn't know how to continue giving back to my community. And United Dems came to me and wanted to give me the opportunity to continue advocating not only in my home district of the Sunset, but across the city. I think one of the big things that they've had me do is do different education platforms with folks that I would never really meet outside. Starting with Supervisor Walton, when we did a Politics 101, Assessor Recorder Carmen Chu doing a Budgeting 101, and residents of District 11 when we wanted to just put on a social, get to know some folks that we haven't already. One of the big factors for me in joining United Dems was not only were they socially welcoming to someone who was a new Democrat,
Time's almost up.
fresh face, but you know, I wanted to join a group that was not just active during an election cycle, who wanted to continually do the work in communities. And so thank you, and I respectfully ask that y'all recharter United Dems. Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. Next speaker, Sin Wong. Where? Oh, hello, we can see you.
Hi, okay, great.
We can hear you too.
Okay, I'm Sin Wang. I'm the state political director at the United Democratic Club, and I wanted to comment tonight in support of rechartering the club. I joined the board last year and just wanted to give a brief snapshot of some of the very robust local programming they've done aside from what other folks have mentioned. just in a personal capacity, I've spoken on or organized panels on topics as diverse as navigating the queer API experience, building a pipeline to queer political leadership, and addressing small business challenges in San Francisco. Prior to this, I had also become very politically disengaged at the local level for many years. This club motivated me, many of my friends and neighbors to start canvassing and phone banking for Democratic candidates again, not only here, but across the country, something I hadn't done for almost a decade. Actually, the last time I can remember was working on Chair Campos's first campaign for supervisor. When we were still colleagues at the same law firm. So I encourage you all to support the rechartering of the United Democratic Club, one of the largest and most active Democratic clubs in this city, and one with a demonstrated commitment to strengthening and growing the party. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Nadia Rahman.
Nadia?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name's Nadia, and I'm the Vice President of Communications for United Democratic Club. I'm here to speak on the importance of rechartering the club for the next 4 years. As we all know, Dem clubs in San Francisco are the backbone of the party here and crucial for civic engagement. United Dem specifically has played and continues to play a vital role as a citywide club focused on inclusion and bringing in new people to the party and getting them civically engaged in San Francisco. I myself am an example of this. The club was instrumental in me learning about why I should care and focus on local politics, thanks to its stellar programming, events, and members. And I credit the club with empowering me to run for office only 2 years after moving to San Francisco and becoming a member. We need more people to be civically engaged, period, full stop. Please recharter the club so that we can continue connecting with San Francisco Democrats with issues in the city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Sashi Takashai.
There you go. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I've been involved with the United Democratic Club since attending a Politics 101 session a couple of years ago. I'm now on the board. The club has educational events, allows the opportunity for citizens to meet their elected officials, and gives San Franciscans ways to volunteer in our community and make our city a better place. Events in the past couple of years have included topics related to women's issues, immigration, and LGBTQ issues. Just to say that the United Dems share the party's vision of making our city, state, and nation a more equitable, more inclusive place for all. Thank you so much for your continued support of the United Democratic Club.
Thank you. Next speaker, Jessica Montes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Montes. I'm a founding member of the Latinx Young Democrats. I'm also a current graduate student at USF in the Masters of Urban and Public Affairs program. And we are here today organized because we are ready to build and activate the Latinx community through our young people. There was a record high turnout in the last primary, particularly in the Latinx community. And in order to continue, we have to have a home base for young people to plug in and engage here, especially here in the city. This club will provide the organizing grounds for radical systemic change while addressing the needs of our constituents and community members. It's important to have the support of our progressive allies, and to date, we have the support of the Harvey Milk LGBT Democratic Club, the Latino Democratic Club, the San Francisco Bernicrats, and the Chicano Latino Caucus. And so with that, we hope to have your support today. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next speaker, Diane Lee. Diane?
Hello, my name is Diane Lee. I am the Vice President of the D2 Democratic Club. I'm also the Vice President of the California Young Democrats. I really like to advocate for our charter. The D2, the District 2 Dem Club really needs to exist because there is a high reputation for us being the least diverse. In 2016, when San Francisco voted for Hillary Clinton overwhelmingly, there were pockets in Pacific Heights, the Marina, and Seacliff that showed more support for Donald Trump than almost any other neighborhood. We would make more Democrats, people in our party feel welcome and also engaged and energized. Voters through voter registration, civic engagement, and education. We've already held successful events and made endorsements, and we would continue to be active. So I urge for you to support our charter. That's it.
Thank
you, Diane. Thank you, Diane. Next speaker, Alida Fisher. Alida.
I'm here. I'm on a slow
Okay.
Wi-Fi connection. I apologize.
Hi.
My name is Alida Fisher, and I'm the president of the District 11 Democratic Club. As you all know, District 11 is one of the most diverse districts in San Francisco. We're the most populous, and we're more than 25% of the residents in our district identify as Latinx. Admittedly, our membership skews older than some clubs. And we're working on engaging younger residents. Because of this, we're really, really excited to support the Young Latin Dems and their charter. We think that anything that we can do to help support the engagement of young voters, we're super excited to do it. And we're also really excited about the Aspiring Citizens Charter. So thank you all. I look forward to seeing you again next month when we present our charter renewal as well.
Thank you. Next speaker, Michelle Roberts.
Hi, good evening, fellow Democrats. My name is Michelle Roberts. I am the Vice President of the New Avenues Democratic Club. I'm here to ask you for two things with respect tonight. One would be to recharter our club. We are, as Kelly mentioned, a progressive club on the West Side. That is really important to me. I joined the club because I live out here on the West Side. I live in the Sunset and was looking for a place to civically engage that was specific to my community, not just the wider SF community, but my community here on the West Side. And that has been a place for me to do that. Every event we've thrown, I feel, I hear people say the same thing. Oh my God, thank you for being a presence on the West Side. So I would ask you to continue to recharter us and allow us to hold that space for our community out here in the West Side of the city. Secondly, I just want to raise up
I'm almost up.
Charter and hope you will vote for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Next speaker, Hans Hall.
Hans?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hans Hao, the Vice President of Asylum Connect, a nonprofit that works with LGBTQ immigrants. I'm here to ask for your support for the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment. As a gay political asylum seeker who has escaped a country that imprisons gay men, I found refuge in San Francisco, and along with many other immigrant leaders, I'm very excited to work with Sarah Souza to make sure all immigrants in San Francisco have a seat at the table. Immigrants are under attack by the Trump administration, whether it is through the racism targeted at Asian immigrants or the attempts to gut the asylum system. As a sanctuary city, it is time to allow immigrants to serve on local commissions so that we can have more equitable and diverse representation. Immigrant voices matter, and I urge you to support the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Hans.
Thank you. Next speaker, Gina Simi.
Hey, I'm so sorry for that. My computer paused. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear
Great.
you.
Thank you so much. My name is Gina Simi. I am the immediate past co-chair of the Alice B. Toklas LGBT Democratic Club and the board member for the District 2 Democratic Club. And I'm speaking in support actually of two things, but in support of chartering the D2 Dem Club, as well as the Alice B. Toklas LGBTQ Dem Club. The D2 Club was born in part because D2 needs more ways for citizens to engage in more productive and proactively with city politics and elected officials. You know, right now, I think too much discussion is really taking place and too much misinformation is taking place in reactionary social media platforms like Nextdoor and Citizen, which I think we all know is not productive or constructive and really hurts our ability to actively engage. And the D2 Club is really full of dedicated Democrats who are committed to addressing these and other issues.
Time is almost up.
And also please support the recharting of the Alice B. Toklas LGBTQ Democratic Club. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, Carol Ruiz. Carol. I don't see her.
Carol, go ahead.
Yes, hi.
Sorry, my computer's a bit slow. Hello, committee members. My name is Carol Ruiz, and I'm a founding member of the Line X Young Democrats, currently serving as Director of Youth Engagement. As a first-generation Ecuadorian American Bay Area native pursuing my master's degree in Urban and Public Affairs at USF, a Cal alum, and currently a legislative fellow with the Board of Supervisors, I'm here to advocate for the chartering of the Line X Young Democrats. Our mission as Line X Young Democrats is to activate, build, and organize around issues that directly affect our communities. We are here today organized because we are ready to build and activate the sleeping giant that is the Line X community, and that is through our young people. We are providing a place to inform young people, whether they're students or young adults, about the systematic issues that impact our society and how the candidates fall on those issues. This club will provide the organizing grounds for radical systemic change through the organizers that will rise up to address the needs of our constituents and community members. We are not afraid to be bold and demand a seat at the table. We hope to have your support today. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Next speaker, Eric Kingsbury.
Hey everyone, happy to be here. I'm the president of the District 2 Democratic Club. I am not going to invoke presidential privilege because we all have a lot of things to do and this has already gone on quite some time, but I'm here to advocate for the chartering of our club. We just got restarted last year after I think about 7 years of being dormant. And our goal is to make sure that we actually energize, engage, and register voters here in District 2 and actually get them to turn out and help on some of these political campaigns as well. I'm looking forward to helping out on Red to Blue and getting some folks from D2 out there as well. So thanks so much, appreciate it, and everyone have a great night.
Thank you. So we have one last speaker, Jen Lowe. So if a member of the public, if you cannot use the function raise hand and you cannot figure it out where it is, please put your name in the chat and I will find you. Okay, so now we have four more public comment.
Hi
everyone. Hi everyone.
Member Jen Lowe, welcome back.
Hi Chair Campos and members of the DCCC. I am just calling to voice my unequivocal support for the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment. Not only do I hope that you will pass the resolution today, but we hope for your endorsement And if it is passed, I also hope that we can get you to help support recruiting people for these seats. We have so many opportunities to engage members of the public. And unfortunately, there has been a stain on our charter in banning non-voters from being able to serve. And this is one of the early entry points to making decisions, to help informing policies that impact your day-to-day life. And it's not just about non-citizens, but people who are involved with the justice system that may not have also lost their rights to vote. So we really hope that you can support this. And I also hope that one day the Democratic Party will also be able to allow for non-citizens to run for office and to also represent us in party leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker Linda Litt-Easter. Linda, we can see you.
Okay, hello.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I guess my computer's slow too. My name's Linda Lighthizer, and I am here to represent a club that's coming up for rechartering, the Home Shares Democratic Club. I am one of the new co-chairs for that organization. We've been chartered since 2015, and we hope you will support our rechartering today. We are a group that has been formed out of a group of licensed San Francisco short-term rental hosts. We also have a large contingent, over 76 senior hosts. These are senior citizens who engage in home sharing and are all very vital members of our community who represent neighborhoods throughout the entire city. We have members from all 11 districts in the city. We engage in many activities around the areas of small business and promoting small business in our commercial corridors throughout the entire city. We also do advocacy for those small businesses as well as voter registration. We work very hard on bringing together voter education for our club. Thank you very much. I hope you'll consider recharting our club again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bivette Bracker is the last speaker. We have two more, sorry, now.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I know this is already a long meeting, but I just wanted to say that I wanted to come in support of all of the clubs who are looking to be chartered. They've put in the work, and I want to give a special shout out to Brownie Mary Democratic Club, as well as Alice B. Toklas, UDC, District 2, Home Sharers, and especially the Young Latinx Democratic Club. They really need our support. And while we're in the era of heightened sensitivity around Black issues and Black Lives Matter, I'd also encourage all of the new clubs in the DCCC to do extra outreach to the African American and Black community because they have been attacked with a lot of disinformation, campaign, and voter suppression. And I would really love to see more work around that to engage the Black community in voter registration for this upcoming November election. And I also wanted to say that I 100% support the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment, as well as Gloria Berry's adoption of the Black to the Future Action Fund, Black Agenda. And thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, Adubu Traore. Adubu? Activate your micro.
Okay, thank you.
Can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for having me on. My name is Adubu Traore, and I'm the director of the African Advocacy Network. We do provide immigration legal services to African immigrants. And I was really happy to work with our colleagues like Sarah Souza and Gabriel Medina on the Aspiring Citizen Charter Amendment. project. And I'm here really, to call out, to everybody, so that, because I'm seeing this conversation as an opportunity, of educating, a fringe, or a portion, of the population which is on the side, either, they're voiceless or they just don't know how to. So, and my presence here is really, to recall everybody about, the diversity of people who are interested in political matters, and particularly when we speak of Black immigrants, when immigrants in general are under attack, and particularly, Black people. So being an immigrant, being Black, really needs, to be more actively engaged. So again, I hope that, this platform is going to be an opening, to call out, to immigrants of diverse origins in order to join in, the conversation and fight along with other communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Nima Haimi, but you're on the side of the panelists, so you want to make a public comment, right?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Nima Rahimi here, speaking in my personal capacity. First, I'd like to lend my support for the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment. As a San Francisco Immigrant Rights Commissioner, I worked with Sarah Souza, Gabriel Medina. I was privileged to work with them to bring a resolution to the Immigrant Rights Commission, supporting a very similar resolution in support of the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment. The resolution passed, and I hope that DCCC also supports the resolution. I want to also speak in favor of rechartering the United Democratic Club. As an Iranian American Muslim, first generation immigrant, the UDC was my first entry into San Francisco politics. I'm an elected delegate representing Assembly District 17 as a result. It's given me a voice. It's given countless other Democrats a voice in the political process. I'd love to see the club rechartered. And I'm very, very, very excited about the Latinx Democratic Club, and I really hope they get chartered as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Last speaker, we have Nomvula Omera. Saying last speaker, but I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Hear you.
Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this meeting. Well, I just had a couple of requests. I sit on the executive board of the Huff Milk Democratic Club, LGBTQ Democratic Club. I'm not representing the Milk Club in my capacity now, but as a community organizer and as an activist. I had the privilege and honor of running for 2 elections last year, and I learned a lot. Well, a lot more than I did maybe like 7 years ago, when I first cut my teeth in politics. One of the things that I've experienced in my neighborhood of District 5, or in the Lower Haight, essentially, is a lot of people who live in marginalized communities are unaware or unable to navigate themselves or their voice to be represented. And so I tend to talk to a lot of my neighbors. And of course, there's a lot of problems here. So last year, I had the opportunity to attend the Black Women's Caucus, which Angela Davis was a speaker. It was actually the second time we had met in different events. Okay, so I'd like the DCCC to charter the 2 clubs that I've mentioned, which is the San Francisco Black Women's Caucus and what is the other one? Well, there's 2 of them right there in the text. So just wanted that for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me look one more time. I don't see any raising hands. Member of the public.
Okay.
Are we sure? I think we're sure.
That closes public comment. Thank you very much, Karima, and thank you to all the members of the public that have come out. And I have to say that it's great to see so many new faces. Not that I don't love the people that have been involved for all these years, but every time we have someone new coming in to be involved in democratic politics in San Francisco, it's exciting, and that's a sign that we're doing a lot of things right. So thank you all for being here, and we really appreciate your feedback and your input. So with that, we're going to move on to item number 5, which is the reports from the various officers. But before we actually go down the list of the various reports, I'm going to go directly to Lee Levitt, one of our vice presidents, because she has been working with Chanel Williams and Keith Baraka and others in putting together our incredible fellow and internship program. And so I want to turn it over to Lee so that she can introduce our interns. I want to give them an opportunity to say a few words, and we're going to give them each 2 minutes, but I'll turn it over to Lee so that she can introduce them. Lee Levitt.
Well, we are excited to have our interns. We are really proud of them. They've just hit the ground running since June 15th. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce each of them. We have 2 high school interns, and we have 3 college interns, one who is going to start a little later in July. Our first intern is Emmanuel Cheng, and he's a rising senior at Lowell High School. He is interested in studying political science, public policy, and economics when he goes on to college. Emmanuel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Cheng, and I'm a rising senior at Lowell High School here in San Francisco. As an intern, I work with Priscilla, who you'll hear from later, the communications committee, and Peter on social media, visuals, and our newsletter. I just want to preface this by sharing how honored and excited I am to intern for such a distinguished body of individuals, and what a pleasure it is to be here with you all tonight. When I was in elementary school, I remember that when I recited the Pledge of Allegiance, I was proud. I'm proud to be reminded that I live in a country that guaranteed liberty and justice for all. But as I look at the country we live in today, I don't really see liberty and justice for all, and I don't really see unity or indivisibility. In fact, I think we all see division, hatred, that runs deep in our country. I see a country plagued with divisive rhetoric and infested with racism. I know this isn't who we are, and I know this isn't the best we can be. I'm here today because I know that as an intern for the San Francisco Democratic Party, the opportunities provided to my colleagues and I are unlike any other, and will enable us to bring real meaningful change. This is the time to step up and speak out. This is the time to fight for what we know is right, to push our country to be the best it can be. This is the time to stand up for real liberty and real justice for all. It is through this internship that I know that I can give back to the San Francisco Democratic Party, a party synonymous with progress and change, known for leading our country forward. I know that it is also through this internship that my colleagues and I will be empowered to create a better country. I'm extremely grateful for the bold, unapologetic leadership this body offers, and I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Our other high school intern is Alan Turones, and he is a rising junior at Gateway High School. And he said he was interested in political science, sociology, or public policy. Alan.
Thank you, Lee. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all and be here today virtually. My name is Alan Turones. I'm 16 years old, and I'm a rising junior at Gateway High School. And I'm a resident from District 9 in the Mission District, and I am an intern for the DCCC. And I've been helping Karima lately with managing the administrative part for the charter clubs and planning, and we'll be planning to help out with putting things on our SF Democrat website with like the questionnaires and all that. I'm really excited to be here today and to learn about the threads of SF politics and connect with community leaders. And I'm really interested in going into politics because I find it that you can really make an impact in your community. Because growing up, I've seen the injustices in my community, from gentrification, immigrant rights, lack of funding towards public and charter schools in San Francisco, and low-income Black and Brown communities. I'm also, as I said, I'm really passionate when it comes to community work, and I'm also CIT, short for Counseling and Training, for the MyEat program, which is a nonprofit organization to provide jobs for youth and job readiness. So thank you all, and it's a privilege being here and interning for the DCCC as a youth.
Thank you so much, Alan. So we have 3 college interns. We have Zoe Bishop, who is majoring in critical diversity studies, as well as legal studies at USF. Zoe.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zoe. I'm from a really small town in Montana originally, but I came to San Francisco in 2018 to start college at USF. And since then, I have declared myself pre-law at USF in the hopes of one day going to law school and potentially getting into politics. For this internship, I'm working with the endorsement committee and also helping the House parties organize virtual action meetings in order to get more people involved with the SF Democrats. And as an activist and a college student, I'm always looking for ways to advocate for the communities that are important to me and learn about what kinds of issues are important for them. And I hope that this internship will serve as a learning experience for me to learn how to organize community and turn goals into actions, actions into change, and that I can take these skills and this knowledge that I've learned back to campus in the fall, because it is a very important fall that we have coming up, which means it's also very important for a lot of campus organizing that I do. So thank you, and I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you, Zoe. Next up, we have Priscilla Jin, and she is studying at Pomona. And her majors, is this right? Philosophy, politics, and economics. Good things come in threes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Priscilla Jin, and I'm a rising junior at Pomona College. And I'm majoring actually in an interdisciplinary major, so it's not as impressive as it sounds. A lot of people think it's a triple major, but which is great for me, but I get a lot more credit than I deserve. And I'm on the marketing team with Emmanuel. And so far, we've been helping out with social media posts, as well as the newsletter, which was just sent out. And it was focused on Black Lives Matter this month. And I was so honored to be able to reach out to different people of the Black community in San Francisco, as well as some protest organizers. So we've been working a lot with Karima and Peter. And a little bit about me, I've always been passionate about politics, but my interests really grew extremely during my first 2 years in college, where I took a lot of interesting politics classes and did a few extracurriculars involving politics. And I'm especially interested in immigration law and the politics surrounding that issue, but just also overall interested and ready to learn more. And my interest especially peaked even more recently, seeing everything on the news and seeing so many people divided, and even more, unfortunately, seeing a lot of people on the wrong side of the argument and all the work that needs to be done. So now I'm even more motivated, and I really want to be part of the solution. And I think this internship is a great tool for me. And so I hope to leave this internship with a more solid grasp on politics, especially in San Francisco, where I was born, and use it as a tool for a clear path on how I can get involved in the future and work on these important issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Priscilla. And finally, we have Fidel Gilchrist. He is finishing up his undergrad at NYU and majoring in politics with a minor in communications.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for coming out today. Yeah, like Lee said, I'm a senior. My name is Fidel, first of all. I'm a senior at NYU studying politics with a minor in communications. I'm currently taking a couple summer classes to finish up my degree. So my contributions to this internship will be a little delayed. I believe we're starting around July 6th. But when I do start, I will be on the marketing team, and I look forward to that. Like my other interns, I'm very passionate about politics, and I knew that was what I wanted to do since I was young, but I wasn't exactly sure what form that was going to take. I'm from the Bay Area. I've lived in lots of places, Oakland, San Francisco, Alameda. So I just tell people I'm from the Bay Area. And when I went to school, that really helped me realize that the place that I wanted my change to be felt was back home where I'm from in the Bay Area. So I'm back now probably for a while, and I'm really excited to be in this internship. I'm excited for this opportunity, and I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to help, and I'm excited to be involved and hopefully help alleviate some of these, social problems that we're out here trying to solve. Thanks.
Lee, any
Yes.
closing words?
Yes, thank you all. And if you felt the energy just pick up in all our respective rooms, that's because we have some amazing young people, right? And you are our future. So thank you again. You are doing this hard work. And nowadays, our interns are so capable in so many realms. Of course, there's a big shift toward a lot of the digital work, but our interns really all came skilled with communications, reaching out to people, and that at the end of the day is what our Democratic Party is about. So we are extremely grateful, and we are humbled by what you bring to the party. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that my fellow committee members, Williams and Baraka, want to add, or Executive Director Lynch, before we move on?
I think you covered everything, Lee.
The only thing that I will add, besides thanking Lee as the chair and Chanel and Keith, this, as far as I remember, is the most diverse group of interns and fellows that we have ever had since I've been involved in Democratic politics. So I want to thank you, and especially to Karima, for doing the outreach needed to get to that point. And the internship and fellowship program is funded with the support of Speaker Pelosi. The fellowship is actually named after Speaker Pelosi. So the college fellows are Nancy Pelosi fellows, and we're very proud of that and grateful to the speaker for her financial and other support that they provide. And then the high school interns, the internship program is named after the late and the great Sue Bierman, who was a really incredible woman supervisor and a very important player in the history of San Francisco. So we were very proud of that, and just grateful to have such an amazing group of young people. If I had the level of sophistication that these young people have at this age, my God, so you can only imagine what they're going to do, and I'm just very grateful that the party can do that, to give them that opportunity. So welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you, and again, great job, everyone. So we'll now move on to the officer reports, and I would simply ask my colleagues to keep it brief. I know there's a lot going on. We're going to have, and we'll talk about it at that point, some really sad in memoriams later tonight. Of course, Mr. Floyd, who we know what happened in that tragic incident. But today we had the passing of an amazing San Franciscan, Harry Britt. And so I just want to, say that name as often as I can tonight because of what he meant to so many of us, especially in the LGBTQ community, but really any community. So first, let me say that in terms of the work of the chair, I'm very proud to work with the executive director to facilitate the work of other officers. And as for those of you who are watching and hearing, you will see that every one of the officers who serves on the executive committee is doing amazing work. And so we try to be supportive of that work with the executive director because there is so much work to be done. And so you're going to hear from them of all the work that's being done on fundraising, that's being done on the headquarters that we want to open. We'll be opening with Speaker Pelosi, voter registration, and so forth. On the financial front, as you know, we have the challenge of raising funds for the federal account. And I want to thank every member of the DCCC, and I want San Francisco Democrats to know that every member of the DCCC has made a personal contribution to that fund, to that effort. So it's not just talking about the importance of doing something like that, but actually doing it. And so thank you to each and every one of you for making that contribution. I know that's not an easy thing to do in these times. I also want to note that the Finance Committee, the Fundraising Committee under Chair Mar met, and we have a number of strategies that we're going to put in place to not only fundraise for the entire committee in the budget, but specifically to target the federal funds. And we'll be reporting more on that. I know that Chair Mar will be doing that in the near future, and that the executive director will be launching an effort in July along those lines. I also want to note, and you're going to hear more specifics from the endorsement committee, chairs Barry and Ibanez have been doing a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting, and are moving that process forward very quickly because it happens in a very short timeline. And so I'm very grateful to them and our executive director for all the work that they have done. And I also want to just make an announcement that, as you know, in the last term, we had a committee that focused on the Black agenda. And I think it's important for us, even more so now, to have a committee that focuses on the very unique issues facing the Black community. And so I will be creating that committee. And I have spoken to Gloria Berry. We're going to call it the Black Lives Matter Committee that she will be chairing. So I want to thank Gloria for taking on that responsibility among all the other things she's doing. And I would simply ask those of you who are interested in serving in that committee to please, email me, ping me in the next couple of days so that I can make an announcement of who else is on the committee. I will be on the committee as well. But I want to make sure that we as a party elevate the importance of this issue. I think that the chair of the committee should be a part of the executive committee. We cannot be true to the principles that we hold as San Francisco Democrats unless we make that issue a top priority. And I know that Gloria will be, playing a very important role. And I especially want to, see the involvement from other African-American members, because, it's important for these communities to make sure that they're speaking for themselves and that they're the ones who are leading this effort. And so I look forward to everyone's involvement. So that is my report right now. And again, I look forward to working.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
I was wondering if you're going to have a committee for the slate card and choosing the vendor this cycle, and if so, I would like to serve.
Yes, we will. I'll keep that in mind, and given the timing, we haven't informed that yet, but we will definitely have that moving forward as we have in the past.
Thank you, Dave.
So with that, I will now turn it to our first vice chair, outreach, Leah Lacroix.
I'm not sure if Leah's actually joined the call.
Okay. We'll now move on to our vice chair for voter registration, Vice President Baraka.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to quickly update you. The first thing everyone can do in this era of COVID, make sure that you share on your various social media channels our link on our sfdemocrats.org site. You can go there by pressing the voting tab, or register2vote.ca.gov is the Secretary of State's online mechanism to do that. As I reported last month, I'm currently in talks with Emily from SF Rising, and that's to hopefully reach some of the disenfranchised communities that some of the commenters today said that they were interested in focusing on, as well as some of the clubs. So we certainly want to move forward with that. And after we get a better idea of what our partnership is going to be with SF Rising, I want to get our interns involved. I believe that is all for right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And, voter registration is the bread and butter of the work we do. So for those of you and to our interns, I know that Vice Chair Baraka will make sure that you are involved in the different strategies and activities he has. But that is really what makes the Democratic Party work. So that's a very critical function, and Keith Baraka has been doing this for a long time, and he knows how to make it happen. So I encourage you to get involved. Next, we're going to turn it to our Vice President for Club Chartering, and that is Vice Chair Mahogany. And as you can see with all the clubs that are listed, it takes a lot of work to make this happen. And I know that Vice President Mahogany has been doing a lot of heavy lifting, and so I'm very grateful to her for the incredible work of putting it all together, herding all the cats, and of course to Karima, who has been right there with her. So Vice President Mahogany.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I do also, again, want to thank Karima for all her incredible work on this. She has been a solid rock for the Democratic Party and for the chartered club. So thank you, Karima, for your service.
I did it with Alan, our intern too.
Okay, and so thank you also to Alan. I'm wondering, I had asked all the club presidents to give their presentations at the beginning of the meeting. Would it be possible to accept, just in the interest of time, to accept all of these, to vote on all of these at once, or do we have to vote on them individually?
It's however you would like to do, Madam Vice Chair. I think that if you want to vote on all of them, the only thing that I would say is if you can list all of them, and then we can proceed to do the vote.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I guess I will ask my colleagues if there are any objections to voting on all of the clubs as a whole.
No objection.
Thank you. Seeing none, I will list the clubs that are up for rechartering. Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club, Bernal Heights Democratic Club, Brownie Mary Democratic Club, District 2 Democratic Club, Home Sharers Democratic Club, Latinx Young Democratic Club, New Avenues Democratic Club, and United Democratic Club. They have completed their applications and sent in their payment, and they are ready for rechartering pending this body's vote.
So Vice President Mahogany made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. So on the rechartering and the chartering of Alice B. Toklas, Bernal Heights Democratic Club, Brownie Mary Democratic Club, District 2 Democratic Club, Home Sharers, New Avenues Democratic Club, United Democratic Club, Young Latinx Democratic Club. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Any opposition? Any abstentions? Congratulations, it's unanimous. Thank you all for those of you that have been rechartered, and though the new one, Young Latinx Democratic Club, welcome to the San Francisco Democratic Party family.
Chair Campos, may I make one correction? There's just a typo in the agenda. It should be Latinx Young Democratic Club and not Young Latinx Democratic Club. So if you could just correct that for the record. It is the Latinx Young Democratic Club.
We will correct that for the record. And, I would say this as a member of the Latinx community, given the challenges that community is facing right now, like other communities, like the African-American community, with respect to COVID, you see this level of engagement by young Latinx people. It is truly, truly inspiring. And as Kevin Ortiz noted, they've been organizing for 3 meetings now. That is really impressive. So with that, we're going to go to our issues and resolutions. Vice Chair Lovett.
Thank you, Chair Campos. So I have 2 procedural items and also an update. And I will attempt to be succinct. So first of all, with resolutions, we want to have a process before the monthly meetings and actually prior to the 72-hour agenda, where the resolutions that have shown up on the 10-day notice can be discussed by the authors of these resolutions, any of the co-sponsors, and any other interested members who want to adopt the resolution, ask questions about it, or help to refine it. And so there's many opportunities for us to really kind of look at the issues overall that we continue to address in our body of resolutions, and also to try to shape these as we're going forward with things like our Black agenda. So we scheduled the first one Friday before this meeting. And as I understand, before this elected body started meeting, these meetings occurred half an hour before the regular monthly meetings. And in our resolutions committee, member Gilad and I discussed the fact that this would not really be enough time to propose amendments or really kind of to iron out some of the more complex issues that we're trying to address. So we'd like to continue offering a time that's between the 10-day notice and the 72-hour agenda, basically about a week before we have our monthly meetings. I can certainly reach out to all the proponents, i.e. the lead authors, and find a good time that they can be on board. And if there's anything that people want to communicate, if they're not able to attend the meeting, we'd like them to do so. And we encourage you to come to the meeting, as this is a way that we can formally offer a recommendation toward a resolution. And this is written into the bylaws. The second issue is around a follow-up process. So we'd really like to start assembling a database of contacts that would help us to properly direct our resolutions. And really that's looking at the resolve clauses and seeing which elected officials and governing bodies we want to direct these to. And we want this process to be effective, right? So much energy goes into drafting these, into discussing these. And we want these to land in front of people who will act on them. So toward that end, actually one of the interns will be helping to assemble this database, and that would be Fidel Gilchrist. When he starts, he will help to reach out to all of you members, and we want to tap into your contacts. Now, this could be at different levels. There might be people that within the governor's office or the different legislative bodies. There might be channels that of that would be effective. And certainly with our ex officios, we have many people here who are sometimes recipients of these resolution resolves. So we want to have something that's functioning that can help the process and really help our resolution authors and co-sponsors. So we're going to develop the database. After each monthly meeting, Peter and I will reach out and make sure that your letter will go to the right place, letter of intro, as well as the resolution itself. And so we are creating a process for doing that. And you can just use a standard letter, or you can draft your own to the specific people and bodies named in the resolve. So that's the second procedural item. There's actually a separate one that is mentioned in terms of the changes to policies and procedures that's coming up, and I'll wait for that one. And finally, I just wanted to provide an update for members of the public who have been advocating around the detention of immigrants by ICE. And that is something that's really high on our minds, because it's an urgent issue. It's really a human rights issue. And so we know that in this time of crisis, there are so many priorities and challenges that we want this to get elevated. And the next step that we have taken is working with the California Democratic Party to advance this as a resolution. So we have basically 14 co-sponsors. I can put the PDF for that resolution into the chat here so that you can actually take a look. And our regional director of Region 6 says that she says there is support coming from our region, and that we hope that Region 6 will also be noted as a co-sponsor. This will go in front of the July 24th e-board that will be meeting of the CDP. Does anyone have any questions or any points of discussion?
Member Lee.
Yeah, Lee, thank you so much for these updates. I think it's really exciting to hear ways that we can really institutionalize like our issues and resolutions work. I think this is all really great. So just to clarify, would both of those things require a bylaws amendment, or is it only the, having this committee meet between the 10-day notice and 72-hour notice?
Yeah, so there's actually an item that's in the policies and procedures manual that has to do with the advance notice. I haven't seen anything in the bylaws around this pre-meeting, pre-adoption voting on resolutions meeting. But maybe it's something to talk about if we want to be more formal. Yeah.
So can I make a recommendation, given this and Chair Campos, your recommendation to move forward to create a Black Lives Matter committee and to ensure the chair of the Black Lives Matter committee is actually formally on the executive committee of DCCC? I would really love for the bylaws committee to meet, just because bylaws, anyone who's ever had to work on bylaws knows how tricky they are. And it takes very particular legalese and wordsmithing. We have incredible expertise across the DCCC. I think that it would be great for the bylaws committee to meet sometime soon and bring like very exact formal language that we could take action on at our next meeting. I don't know how that sounds, but
I mean, I think that there is a plan to meet with respect to committees. Just so you know, the way the bylaws are written, the chair is given wide discretion in terms of the creation of committees, including the executive committee. But I think that it is important for the bylaws committee to meet so that we can figure out the range of issues that need to be addressed and the things that need to be clarified. And I know that the item on the agenda today was more of an immediate thing that needed to happen, but I'm sure that there are probably other things like that need to happen. And so meeting and identifying those things is important. So I know that that will happen in the next few days. Member Lovett, anything else?
That's it, unless somebody else has some questions.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we're going to move it along, but thank you very much for all your work, and thank you to Peter Galata as well for the work on that. And with that, I actually will turn it to our Vice Chair of Partnerships, Vice Chair Galata.
Thank you, Chair Campos. And I just want to once again welcome our interns. They are already doing incredible work supporting the Communications Committee and helping us out with social media, drafting the newsletter that went out today, and just want to give a special shout out to Emmanuel and Priscilla for their great writing and content that they've been doing for us so far. As part of the interns' duties this summer, we're also excited that they are going to be supporting our partner Swing Left in virtual phone banking for a few hours a week. And I just want to thank our executive director because this was her idea. And I think it was a brilliant idea to have our interns support and get experience phone banking in some of these critical races that we care a lot about. So I want to thank Swing Left for training them and getting them on board, but that's a really exciting, I think, experience that they'll have this summer. I want to also just acknowledge and thank Susan Shane from Swing Left and Susan Pfeiffer from Democracy Action, who you heard from earlier tonight, and all the great work they continue to do. I think one of the focuses for me and for I think the party right now is that our role is really helping to amplify and promote the work of our partners so that we can connect more Democrats to these opportunities to phone bank and text bank right now. And so As part of that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building out a resource page on our website that actually has all of the information for our partner groups so that Democrats can get connected to their events and training opportunities for phone banking, text banking. This will also be a helpful resource for our Democratic clubs to use as well, because we know they're interested in potentially partnering as well. We are also, I'm going to be encouraging folks, and Susan Pfeiffer mentioned this earlier tonight, and Zoe did as well, our intern. The California Democratic Party is hosting and convening virtual action meetings throughout the state. And these are opportunities for folks who are interested in phone banking, text banking, or taking action leading up to the November election. This is kind of the toe in. This is the kind of the first step they can take to get connected and learn more about what those opportunities are. And so we had a great call with Cecilia Minalga, who is our area director with the California Democratic Party, who's helping to coordinate the 2020 coordinated campaign to find out how we can start organizing these virtual action meetings. So I have committed to hosting one of these virtual action meetings. They're virtual meetings. They last about an hour. The goal is to invite about 15 to 20 folks to jump on a call and hear about what these opportunities are for them to engage and get motivated around the November election. So I'm going to be following up with my colleagues on the DCCC to encourage all of you to potentially host a virtual action meeting in the coming months. I also will encourage and reach out to our Democratic clubs to consider hosting them as well. And so we can just really get, despite the times we find ourselves in, how we can connect with one another and get folks motivated about the election in November. So that's all my report for tonight. Thank you.
Any questions for our Vice Chair of Partnerships? Peter, thank you for your great work on this, and thank you, Karima, for supporting that work as well. We'll now turn it to our Treasurer, AJ Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Quick report. The balances on our accounts should have been distributed this morning. Thank you, Karima, for collecting and distributing that information. Our federal account is just over $13,000. State account is just over $62,000. An update on the federal account, as you notice, there's a large increase over last month, that there were several donations that came in, many of which were from our members of the DCCC. So thank you everybody who got your checks in and or they're on their way. And thank you definitely to Karima for chasing down all those checks from everybody. There was also a very generous donation from Speaker Pelosi of $5,000 to the federal account. And a big part of that is to help pay for the cost of our interns, which I'm super excited about. And everybody's been posting in the chat and commenting about how excited we are about these really well qualified young folks who are jumping right into the work. And due to some great ideas from our executive director, we're looking at ways to fund the internships in creative ways, utilizing the state and federal distributions. The cost roughly for the month of July is about $3,200 for the internship program. Looking further at some of the challenges that we were facing in the federal account, as the chair mentioned and we mentioned last month, the primary fundraising challenges are around the federal account, the low balances and the costs, especially of the accounting, and the fundraising rules that surround federal accounts. As before, we owe about just under $12,000 to SEOans, and they have generously reduced the amount of their billing to our federal account now to about $1,000 a month. Last month, Member Cohen made a suggestion that we look into alternative firms to do our due diligence in terms of pricing, and was nice enough to give us some leads on to check into it. And I went ahead and gave a call to the lead firm, and they indicated that they are actually getting out of the DCCC accounting business. And when I asked them why they are not doing DCCCs anymore, they said it's because there's it's due to the complexity of handling DCCC finances, the very thing we're talking about with federal accounts. it requires senior staff from the firm and drives up costs and makes it expensive. And so they were actually getting out of that practice because of that. So that kind of shapes sort of the discussion of when we're looking at firms. And we will continue to look for alternative firms so we can do our diligence and find out what the average cost is. But just so that folks on the committee know, there is a reason why it's expensive to do this sort of work, it appears, from that referral. And thank you to Member Cohen for the referral of the firm. Also, we are consulting, Karima gave me an update today that she's been working with our attorney to see what our legal options are in terms of classifying our interns so that we may be able to redistribute some of the salary for the interns to the state account, which would bring down the federal costs considerably. When we have an update on that, we'll hopefully be able to share more. And then lastly, the Finance Committee met, as Chair Campos indicated, on under leadership of Gordon Marr earlier this month, and talked about the challenges specifically around the federal account, identified fundraising goals and targets. Some of the solutions that came up were call time. Obviously, it's a good time that people are picking up the phone, and this is the time to do it, and really that's the best way to fundraise. Increased and further member DCCC member contributions as we go forward, and further plans. We have a follow-up meeting planned, I believe, for next week, early July, to look further into these opportunities for fundraising. The big challenge is that we have an ongoing bill in that federal account of, let's say, just under $5,000, give or take the amount, and that includes a portion of the salary of the executive director, the internship salaries, and the accounting fees. So we need to make sure and meet the minimum so we don't dig further in, but we also need to pay off the $12,000 or so that we owe. So it's a serious thing, but it's not insurmountable. It's just something we need to focus on. And obviously there's efforts going on with the Finance Committee. So that's what I got for now.
Thank you. Any questions for our treasurer? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to our committees, and we're going to move on to our endorsement committee. And I'll turn it over to the co-chairs, members Barry and Ibanez.
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll talk about the timeline. As everyone, we do have a timeline. And as Chair Campos pointed out, things are moving rather quickly. One of the things, just so you know, in terms of the important dates that it's important to keep in mind, is that on Saturday, July 18th, we're going to be interviewing the Board of Supervisors candidates. On July 22nd, which is Wednesday, we as a body, we're going to be voting on who we will be endorsing for the Board of Supervisors. And then another important date, or other important dates to keep in mind for the other candidates that are running for Board of Education, College Trustee, BART, and initiatives, we will be meeting to do interviews, or we'll be conducting interviews on Saturday, August 22nd. And then we will be voting on August 26th. All of this is going to be virtually, given the situation that we're living. I know that there's had been some discussions on possibly, would it be possible for us to convene physically, given where we're at right now, given that the rise of COVID cases are going up in the rise. I don't think it's going to be possible to put ourselves in a situation that we may endanger ourselves or others. So all of this, Co-Chair Barry and Karima and I had a discussion that continuing to do virtually will be the right way of doing it. So that's my report in terms of our timeline. And I also want to say thank you to Karima and Zoe and Member Barry for working together and putting the timeline and all the work that has taken on this. So thank you so much.
And real quick, this week, the supervisors only questionnaire will be going out to them, and the deadline for them to return it will be July 6th, so that all the members can review those. And as far as this questionnaire, it was a tedious process. I would like to give shouts out to people who did contribute questions to the questionnaire. Member Loftus, Member Lee, Member Kim, Member Lavette, Member Ibanez, Member Galata, and Associate Member Shea And also Chair Campos, thank you very much. And thank you so much to our intern. She's a pleasure. She gets things either first time you say it. And I would also like to enforce that when we do have deadlines for input, if people can try to make the deadlines for that input, and as well, the board, school board, college board, and BART are coming up. So if you have input questions, you can get them in as soon as you like, and we prefer not after the deadline to submit them. Thank you.
Well, kudos to co-chair Ibanez and co-chair Barry. Great job, and thank you again to Karima for helping. Are there any comments or questions to our co-chairs? Seeing none, again, thank you everyone, and we'll move on to, and just to our candidates, just please make sure that you remember those dates. Again, it's July 18th and July 22nd. So that's coming up. This is for the Board of Supervisor candidates. So we look forward to
July or August, David?
July for the supervisors.
Thank you.
Thank you. Executive Director report. And again, you know, Karima has been working very, very hard in doing a phenomenal job in a very challenging time given COVID-19.
Thank you
Karima.
very much. Thank you. So I'm going to be brief. I just wanted to say that I've been working with our 5 interns, and that's true. They are really wonderful. And I just want to mention the goal with the 5 interns is to put structure for you to facilitate your work. So when we work, we're talking about with the issue committee is really what do we do after post resolution? What can we do to have an impact after in San Francisco and California and also in United States, maybe. So really that's the goal with the 5 interns, and they've been really helpful, especially with the communication committee for rechartering the clubs, with the endorsement committee, and also with the project that Member Collada mentioned about the virtual house party to recruit volunteers for all the election that we're gonna have until November. And I have a favor to ask you, actually, is for our social media. If you are not a follower, please follow us, SF Democrats, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Like Member Loftus, she maybe plans to have a TikTok one day if we're really famous. But please follow us, it's really helpful. And if you have any subject or even a workshop or topics that you want to mention that you think they are really important, then please send an email to the communication committee, Member Janice Lee, Member Collada, Member Susie Loftus, and CC me, and we'll talk about it and really push a strategy for highlighting what you want to talk about. I think is really important. And yes, I think that's it. And also I take the moment that I have all of you here to talk about email, SFDCCC email. If you really want to have an email with your first name, last name at sfdemocrat.org, please send me an email and I will guide you through. Thank you.
Thank you, Karima. And I like the idea of the TikTok challenge. And now that we have these incredible interns, I know that they're going to produce something phenomenal. We'll now move on to our regional director, Henny Kelly.
I'm going to bring on Henny Kelly. Here we go. Henny, where are you? I can see you.
I'm glad you can.
I can hear you too. Hello, Henny?
Yes, hello there. I want to say that we had a Region 6 meeting, and I know Lee Lovett talked about it. Your resolution, the COVID-19 ICE and resolution was basically passed unanimously, and it has been turned in. Thank you very much, Karima, for doing that. And it will be seen by the legislation committee. And I think that is a really important thing that we do that. When somebody else talked about today about, and I, you know, taking resolutions and trying to decide where they should go, I think that's a really great committee for you to put together. And I would like to help with that because I kind of know the ins and the outs of the CDC, and I work on legislation with the Senate, State Senate and the Assembly. But what I would like to say is that I was very excited today to see how many clubs and how excited they were, how many clubs there were and how excited they were to recharter. And I look basically at the 3 different counties that I work with, and I really want to tell you that San Francisco just has the most active clubs of anywhere. So I don't know if I did want to tell you that the convention will be the last weekend of July, and it is of course going to be virtual, and there will be a chance for all of you to go to any of the caucus meetings or any of the trainings that you want to go to. And I think that I will get all that information to you because I think it will be really very helpful to you. So thank you very much. Have a good rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And I want to note that in terms of members contributing, it's not just the official members. Shout out to Matthew Rothschild and Brian Perkins and others who have donated as well to the federal account. So greatly appreciated. Everyone's chipping in. So we'll now move on to item number 7, which is a resolution that was introduced by Member Barry, resolution supporting the adoption of the Black to the Future Action Fund Black Agenda 2020. Member Barry.
Thank you. I'll try to be as quick as possible. Last year, a year ago,
Gloria is frozen.
Is she frozen? Okay, we'll come back to it. And I realized that I skipped item 6. So why don't we do item 6 and then we'll come back to Member Barry. So item 6 is the policy and procedures manual changes that were outlined before. And I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Lovett.
So the first one is relevant to the Issues and Resolutions Committee, so that one I can take on. We just wanted to standardize the language and the policies that are set out in this manual because the original version said that resolutions would be submitted 15 days in advance to the chair and to the Issues Committee. So we're standardizing it, and that way, if you look on page 9, Article 6, Section 1, we want the resolutions submitted to the Issues Committee and the party chair. And actually, we want to add the corresponding secretary because she is also integral to that process. So that would be 12 days in advance of the date of the meeting at which the matter is to be considered. We
So
had discussed this earlier. Can I make a motion to amend what is in the agenda so that it reflects submission also to the corresponding,
So we
to
have
the
a
corresponding
motion
secretary?
second by member Galata. We can take the amendment without objection. If we can now have a motion on the amended item 6A.
So moved.
Motion by Galata. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? Baraka?
Baraka.
Yeah.
So on the item 6A, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Are there any abstentions? Okay, the item passes unanimously.
Who moved it? Sorry, Chair.
Yes, so it was moved by, I think it was Galata and seconded by Baraka.
Great, thank you.
Correct.
If we can now go on to item 6B. Member Vice Chair Lemon.
I will actually turn that to the endorsement co-chairs.
Okay, so we will now to co-chair Ivanez, co-chair Barry.
I can go ahead and speak on that. One of the things that we want to be able to do is to amend our endorsement policy, which is on section, it's on page 10, article 7. And again, it's on section 2.0. And basically one of the things that it's currently requesting is that candidates must submit 40 copies of their completed questionnaire to the interview committee. Given that we're now doing this virtually, we're asking that they should not submit any written questionnaires. And so that will be the amendment that we will propose. And I guess I would like to make that as an amendment.
So we have a motion by member Ivanez. Is there a second? Second by member Galata. Is there, can we, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And then just to the young people, there was a time when people actually made copies, hard copies of things, and they don't do that anymore. So our bylaws need to reflect that change. We'll now thank you very much again to Member Lovett and to the co-chairs of the endorsement committee. Is Member Barry back online?
Yes, she is.
Yes, so we'll turn it back to item 7. Member Barry.
Thank you. That was embarrassing. A year ago, members of the public stood in a long line and advised the GCCC about different disparities in San Francisco for the Black community. And it was very disheartening. And Chair Campos decided last year we'd have a Black agenda working group. And members Mahogany, LaCroix, Baraka, and the previous executive director, Hanzo, and us all met a lot. We met a lot. We collected a lot of data, and we were really going forward. And then election season happened, and I talked with member Mahogany and member Baraka and we all agreed that we really needed to go forward with a Black agenda, how important it was. And I, as a member of the public, was in volunteer mode all that time. So recently I was in a meeting with Jackie Fielder and Alicia Garza. And Alicia Garza brought up the Black Agenda 2020. And I was so excited to see that Black Lives Matter movement had already been working on a Black agenda throughout the country. And they used so many experts, and they did a census with a lot of surveys across the country. They used various just a wealth of personnel to contribute to this Black agenda. And I just want to quickly close out with a quote from Alicia Garza. She said, "Black people have always played a role in unlocking the promise of an America that has not yet been realized. And if there was ever a time to tap into that power, it's now. And lastly, I want to acknowledge a lot of the allies and contributors across the country: Aisha Moody, Ai-jen Poo, Phil Goff, Stephen Pitts, James Bell, Rashad Robinson, Heather McGee, Lenore Anderson, and Valissa Thompson. And I noticed that it's really hard to get your sponsors onto the agenda prior to the 10 days even, but I also have some co-sponsors, a powerful member, Williams, Carolina Morales, Annabelle, I'm sorry I'm using your first names, but Galata and Levitt. So thank you, and I hope that we can pass this and do some bold change.
So we have a motion to approve the resolution. Is there a second? Second by Baraka. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. Anyone else want to be added as a co-sponsor? I just want to make sure. So member Baraka, member Loftus, member Lovett, member Avalos, member Chen, member Mahogany. Anyone else?
Member
that I'm
Kim.
missing?
Kim.
Oh, yes, member Kim. Great. So on the resolution, on the motion to approve the resolution, yes, member Baraka, you wanted to say a few words?
Yeah, I just had a problem with one of the sentences. I'm sorry, I just dropped my paper. In the second paragraph, I believe it's the third sentence, or maybe the fourth, the one that starts with Black people are amputated. Would you consider to change that to something like maybe Black people suffer from amputations? I know it's
absolutely. That was actually pointed out to me by member Lovett, and working on that questionnaire kind of took priority, but absolutely.
okay.
So we have a motion to amend by member Baraka, seconded by member Barry. Can we take that without objection? Any other comments on this very important resolution? Member Williams. Hold on. Can you unmute yourself?
Oh,
Member
can you
Williams?
hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to thank Member Berry for her leadership. This is such an important agenda. This is the largest census that's been done in 155 years of Black folks in America. And so it's just really beautiful to see this coming before our body. And it's just a really good start to everything that we need to do to put forward to really respect what's happening in the Black community at this time. And I just look forward to continuing the conversation around how do we implement the different points that are in this agenda, because there's a lot there. And I really want us to think about the implementation of that and how we kind of move that forward. So thank you.
Yeah, I do want to echo that, and I'm so glad to have Member Barry chairing the Black Lives Matter committee. I think that will be important. So on the resolution,
I'm sorry.
yes, Member Kim.
I just had another friendly amendment. Sorry, I was just reading that therefore be it resolved that the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee adopts the Black to the Future 2020 Black Agenda versus will adopt, because we're adopting it right now, if that's okay with the author.
Okay, so that's a friendly amendment. So do we have any objections to that motion? Yes, anything
And
else?
I have one more just for the be it finally resolved. I think that it has to be a full sentence because there's a period in between Black agenda and copies of this resolution shall be sent. So I think it should be it finally resolved. Sorry, I'm just being nitpicky. That the DCCC recommends all DCCCs, the California Democratic Party and the DNC adopt the Black agenda, and that copies of this resolution will be forwarded to the CDP.
Member Kim,
is that
so
correct? That it has to be.
Are you reading the latest version that was sent around? Because I know that
No, maybe not. I'm reading the. one that came with the notice. Was it updated?
Yeah, there was something sent around because I think Member Barry recognized that there were some grammatical errors. So I think we'll take all the grammar edits.
Then
as, like,
forget my friendly amendments. Thank you.
Member Barry, is that
So
cool?
I'm having issues with my sound. So Member Kim, do you have, are you still making a motion to amend or no?
I think I'm looking at an older version of the resolution.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the current one has been cleaned up. So my apologies.
Member Baraka?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Member Kim. I was just saying that the last finally resolved paragraph had not changed, and your corrections would still hold for even the new copy, according to the one that I have. But what you said still would apply because on the revised version, that paragraph was unchanged.
Okay, so why don't we take that motion by Member Kim to change that resolve clause along the lines described, seconded by Baraka. Is that okay? And if we can take that without objection. So on anyone else on this resolution, anyone else? So on the motion to support the amended resolution, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Member Feinstein abstains. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much, Member Barry. Appreciate the great work, and I'm very happy that we passed that. So now we'll move on to the next resolution, and I'll turn it over to Member Loftus, which is a resolution in opposition to the prison spending initiative. Member Loftus, thank you for bringing this forward.
Yes, thank you, Chair Campos. Thank you, Democrats. So back in 2014, California voters overwhelmingly passed Prop 47. I'm sure we're all very familiar with that. It was an important criminal justice reform that did essentially one big thing. It reduced 6 felonies, which were theft and drug related, to misdemeanors, and took away the ability to charge someone with a felony for stealing up to $450 worth of something, and elevated that up to $950. As a result of Prop 47, there's been incredible gains for California. Namely, you might have seen the PPIC report that just showed that not only did Prop 47 reduce thousands of people from going to prison, but it also was one of the few reforms that reduced racial disparities in both who gets arrested and bookings. To be clear, there are still pervasive racial disparities, but there was a 5% reduction in racial disparities in arrests after Prop 47, and an 8% reduction in who actually is booked into jail as a result of this change in the law. What that means is the governor just announced that not sending people to prison has saved Californians $100 million in this budget year. So as they're closing a multi-billion-dollar deficit, the gains of Prop 47 is going to allow that money to go to mental health and treatment and all of the local prevention strategies that we know actually work. And in the face of all of these incredible gains, there is an initiative that will be on our November ballot unless they decide to take it off, which would roll back a lot of the progress that was made by Prop 47 and make changes that take us actually in the wrong direction and could, at a time where we feel like we're having a lot of reckonings, this is a really dangerous initiative because it's one of those initiatives that if you don't know better and if we don't organize and educate voters, it's going to sound like keeping California safe and protecting our communities, when in reality, it's investing in failed strategies that made California a state where we over-relied on incarceration. I'm very concerned about this initiative, and I believe as Democrats, all of us should be. I would love to have your support. Democratic organizations across the state are becoming more aware of this initiative and how dangerous it is. There is a coalition of law enforcement associations and supermarket chains that are investing in it, and I think we as Democrats need to put our time and effort behind telling the truth that California has to stake out a different approach when it comes to building safety, and we're not going to go backwards. So I know Member Morales has already signed on as a co-sponsor, so thank you. I'd be honored to have your support for this important resolution.
Thank you very much, Member Loftus. We have a motion by Member Loftus on this resolution. Is there a second by second by Member Lee? And now we'll move on to comments. Member Baraka and then Member Weiner.
Thank you, Member Loftus, for this resolution. I would just like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Great, of course, thank you.
Member Weiner.
I was raising my hand to give a second or two. In this case, how about move by acclamation?
So we have a motion to move by acclamation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Kim. So Member Barry and then Member Williams, did you have a comment as well? Member Barry.
This is Member Bear. I just had a question for the author, and thank you, Loftus, for the discussions we've had on different resolutions. But I did have a question. Are police unions funding this?
Yes, they are funding the initiative that we're opposing.
Thank you.
And Member Williams, did you have a comment? No? Yes, okay.
I was just saying add me as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Yes, Member Spear?
You alluded to some supermarkets. Which supermarkets?
Safeway and Ralph's.
Oh, interesting. Something to keep in mind.
Something you might need. Member Avalos, did you have a comment?
Sorry, no, I would just like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay. Member Ibanez?
Yeah, I just want to be added as a co-sponsor as well.
Thank you. And I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor too. Anyone else? Thank you very much, Member Loftus, for your leadership on this important issue. So we have a motion and a second on the resolution. All those in favor? Oh, actually, is a motion and a second by acclamation. So without objection, it passes with acclamation. Thank you, by acclamation. Thank you, Member Loftus.
Thank you, Democrats. I'll keep you posted.
Kathleen wants to talk.
Sorry, David, I need to abstain on that.
Okay.
Sorry about
Okay, Member Feinstein abstains. We'll move on to the next resolution, which is in support of 5 key schools and programs. Again, a resolution by Member Loftus.
Oh, that was actually taken off the agenda, David.
My
Similarly,
apologies.
the issue resolved. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And the next resolution was also taken off the agenda on the ERAP funding. So we'll now move on to a resolution by Member Ibanez supporting the Aspiring Citizens Charter Amendment that was just put on the ballot, and that effort was led by Sarah Sousa. Member Ibanez.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm actually reaching out to my colleagues to ask for your support of the supporting this Aspiring Citizen Charter Amendment that was put forth by Supervisors Walton and me, and obviously it was passed unanimously by the Board of Supervisors yesterday. And before I go on, I actually want to be able to recognize and thank Sarah Sousa for her leadership and also in supporting me in crafting this resolution, as well as the committee members of the Aspiring Citizenship. And this is a very broad committee that's composed of labor, community CVOs, and different organizations here in San Francisco. And what this an initiative, it would actually is going to be removing the restrictions that would allow non-citizens to participate in boards and commissions. Here in San Francisco, 1/3 of our population is excluded from participating in our democratic process. With this, it would actually allow more inclusive participation, and actually we would have a much more democratic city. And it's really important to ensure that that happens, especially in terms of what's happening at the national level with all the attacks that have been coming in terms of this anti-immigrant climate. And yeah, so I ask for your support on this resolution.
Thank you very much, Member Ibanez. We have a motion by Member Ibanez. Is there a second to that motion? Seconded by Avalos. And I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor of that resolution. I know Member Baraka, Member Berry, Member Mahogany. Anyone else wants to be added as a co-sponsor to the resolution? Member Williams, Member Galata, Avalos, and Speaker Pelosi. You want to add it as a co-sponsor? Member Chen, Member Morales, Member Maliga. Member Morales, did you want to say something?
I'm waiting for you to. Yeah, I was just wondering if we can move by acclamation.
So we have a motion to move by acclamation, seconded by Member Williams. Can we
I
take
had a
that?
quick question.
Yes, Member Kim.
Sorry, this is a procedural question. I definitely want to support this resolution today. Does this take place of our endorsement vote later in the future? Okay.
No, still
This is on top of. Okay.
Another procedural question, since we're on Zoom, a number of us are weighing in on the chat that we want to be added to various resolutions. So will that get just recorded, or do we need a verbal?
Member Lynn, I'm sorry, to our Executive Director, what's the best way for people to be added as co-sponsors?
Sorry. I know that Member Lee have been catching and writing when you chat in the chat, but also when you mention it vocally. So I don't know if she keep doing that, or maybe it's easier for her to find a
Chat is fine. It just goes by really fast. I often miss the motions and the seconds because we're not all in a room together, so I can't physically see you. So I'm sorry, I might just ask for it again. But if you put it in chat, I'll make sure it gets carried over and just review the minutes. If I missed you, then you can take a look at the minutes next month anyway.
Thanks for doing that heavy lift, member.
Okay, so we have a motion by Member Galata.
All right, thank you, Member Comments. I just was curious if procedurally it would be possible for us to consider an early endorsement of this measure since it's been qualified for the ballot. I would love to see us. I think this is exactly the kind of ballot measure that the Democratic Party should be coming out early in support of. So I would like to move that we consider endorsing this charter amendment tonight.
Mm-hmm. I second that.
I think that procedurally you have to. I think that you have to notice the endorsement prior to this. Which is why I think they wanted to do this resolution. But I think that we can definitely bring it back to the July meeting, and there will be endorsements happening.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah, Peter, the senator supports this resolution and will be supporting you 100%. But I do think you have to give both sides an opportunity to come to an endorsement meeting and make their case. I mean, in terms of process down the road for our endorsement, at least the people have a right to come and voice their opposition, but be supporting the motion tonight.
Well, I think that my thought would be that we should add it to the July agenda for an endorsement. Give both sides. I don't know who is on the other side, but give them an opportunity to come and speak to us. But hopefully, the fact that a resolution passes tells people that the Democratic Party supports this. Any other comments? So we have.
We could put it on the July endorsement meeting with the soup. So moved. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Member Ibanez?
After the vote, I would like to have a personal privilege. If that's
Okay. So can we take the motion and the second to acclamation without objection? Without objection. Oh.
Sorry, I have to abstain. Sorry.
No worries. Feinstein abstains. That passes. Member Ibanez?
Yes, I just wanted to take a personal privilege, and I actually wanted to make sure that I acknowledge Gabriel Medina, which I totally forgot, who is the co-chair of the Aspiring Committee and who has been a tremendous leader behind this charter amendment. So I want to make sure that I recognize Mr. Medina, and that is my personal privilege. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Sarah Sousa, Gabriel Medina, and everyone else who has been working diligently to make this happen. It's not easy to get this on the ballot. We'll now move on to the next item, which is a resolution calling on Congress to take legislative action to block the rollback of civil rights protections based on gender identity or sexual orientation in healthcare, and that is by member Mahogany.
Hi, thank you, Chair Campos. If it's all right, I would actually like to combine my comments for the next two items because they're related, just to save us all time.
No objection.
Okay, thank you. First, I want to wish everybody a happy Pride Month and also congratulate my fellow LGBT community members who have finally had job protections against discrimination based on gender, including sexual orientation and gender identity, affirmed by the Supreme Court. That is no small thing and definitely should be celebrated. But while we have had this win, our rights, especially for our trans community members, continue to be under attack by the federal administration. The Trump administration has made very clear that they intend to undo as much of the progress that has been made in this country under the Obama administration as they can. And most recently, they announced their intent to roll back Obama-era protections put in place by the Affordable Care Act, effectively allowing healthcare plans and providers the ability to discriminate against someone based on their gender identity. At the same time, HUD Secretary Ben Carson has announced his intent and his office's intent to put forward guidance that would allow homeless service providers to discriminate against and turn away homeless transgender people. Both of these attacks on the transgender community, of course, are happening during Pride Month and also amidst the worst pandemic we have seen in 100 years. While the decisions of the Supreme Court to reinforce worker protections is promising, it is possible, and I believe likely, that the Trump administration will continue to push these rollbacks forward using the argument that employment is different from healthcare and also employing the arguments of religious freedom. Regardless of what may or may not happen in the next few weeks, now is the time during Pride Month to stand in solidarity with the LGBT community and to affirm their humanity and their rights. So I'm asking for the support of my colleagues on this committee so that we can send a message to Washington that we are indeed watching and that we will not let this happen. And so that is why I'm bringing these resolutions today.
So we have a motion by Vice Chair Mahogany to adopt a resolution regarding the rollback of civil rights protections based on gender identity and sexual orientation in healthcare, and also another resolution condemning the proposal by the Department of Housing and Urban Development to remove protections for transgender people accessing shelter. So we have a motion, second by member Loftus. Who would like to be, I know I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. So I just want to make sure that we give that to our recording secretary, member Williams, Weiner, Baraka, Avalos, Berry, Galata, Ibanez, Morales, Tung.
Sorry, I can't type that fast, John.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so so
You
William?
can just type in chat. If you can type in chat.
Do it in the chat for
like
our recording secretary. I'm sorry, Janice. I was trying to be helpful, but I wasn't. Is there any other comment on this?
Chair Campos, are we taking these together? Because
we're voting on both together. That's the motion. Member, yes.
Gary.
Spear. Member
Um,
Spear, and then Speaker Pelosi.
Yes, so the speaker supports the direction of this resolution directing Congress. Given her longstanding policy, she'll be abstaining from anything that that directs Congress to do an action, including herself.
Thank you very much. Member Spear.
I just wanted to say that Member Spear loves what's being proposed in this measure, in both measures, and I don't have any direction regarding instructing us, and so I'm going to vote for it. And thank you very much. It's a wonderful effort, and the depths of Trump's bigotry is almost fathomless. So maybe someday we'll be able to watch that train wreck of a show on a different channel other than the one he's on at the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Member Baraka, and then Speaker Pelosi.
Well, I'm adding myself as a co-sponsor. I put it in the chat too, Janice.
Speaker Pelosi.
Sorry, the speaker would be supporting the next resolution. If you're doing them together, then we'll be voting in support of both.
I'm fine to separate the two just for the vote. I was mostly just putting my comments all together because I thought it would save time.
Okay.
So if we want to.
Okay, so why don't we take the first resolution that deals with healthcare. On that resolution, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Speaker Pelosi. Okay. On the second, the other resolution dealing with housing and shelter. Those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? No abstentions. Thank you, Member Mahogany, for your leadership on this, for bringing this forward. Really appreciate it. Very important. We will now go on to new business. We have a couple of memoriams, but before we get to that, any announcements or new business from members? Member Lee.
Yeah, quick one. So thank you so much for chartering New Avenues Democratic Club. I know there's a few folks on this call that are on the board, including myself, Edward Wright, who's pressing for Gordon Moore right now. We're really excited that we're going to have our first event next Tuesday. It'll be a virtual panel. I'll make sure to send the information around. Is this really looking at ways that we can engage folks on the West Side as we really redevelop? I think it might be the only Democratic club covering all of Assembly District 19. We're going to have opening remarks from Leah Lacroix as our first vice chair. I know she's not here tonight. And the panel will be facilitated by me alongside Ivy Lee and Katie Teng as sort of, parting words from recent and about to depart elected officials. So I hope you all join up.
Thank you, Member Lee. Any other announcements? Member Loftus, did you have an announcement? Anyone else? Member?
Barry.
Yes, go ahead, Member Barry.
Yes, a member of the public advised me to mention the rally for ACA 5 on July 4th at 10 a.m. It's at City Hall. Bob Bonita, who was one of the authors, is helping to lead this massive rally, and they would appreciate some DCCC members in attendance for solidarity. As of today, it'll be on the November ballot and will seek to reverse damage done by Proposition 209.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, now we will go on to our in memoriams, and I'm going to first turn to Member Tung, who had an in memoriam for Vincent Chin. So if you want to say a few words, Member Tung.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I would move to adjourn in the memory of Vincent Chin, who was murdered by two Caucasian men 38 years ago in Detroit. At the time of his murder, Detroit's auto industry was experiencing an economic downturn due to Japanese auto imports. And even though Mr. Chin was Chinese American, the two men who murdered him accused him of stealing American jobs and used racial slurs during the attack. His murder is often viewed as a crucial point in time for the Asian American community's engagement in the civil rights movement and to demand stronger hate crimes legislation. For those of you who are friends and allies of the API community, please join the San Francisco Remembrance of Vincent Chin this Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning at the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association at 843 Stockton Street in Chinatown. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Member Lovett, who wanted to add an in memoriam for Sean Monterosa.
So to add to all the tragedies that we've seen and that are highlighted by the Black Lives Matter movement, on June 6th, Sean Monterosa was in Vallejo, and he was carrying a 15-inch hammer. The police mistook that for a weapon and shot him and killed him. He was only 22 years old, and he was a City College of San Francisco student. where I work and have worked with many, many students who had lives of promise, of difficult suffering. And this is the worst kind of suffering for our community to experience tragedy upon tragedy.
Thank you, Member Lovett. And I'm going to turn it to Member Barry, if you can say a couple of words as we adjourn in the memory of Mr. Floyd George and what he has meant to this country.
Well, I appreciate that. Was unexpected, but I also wanted to give my condolences to Harry Britt and his family. I actually got to visit.
We're going to get to that one, but
okay. But yeah, as far as George Floyd, I mean, talk about someone who's not dying in vain. It woke the country up, it woke the world up, and to his family, I just want to, not that they're watching us, but I just want to send those sentiments and that energy to his family and to all the people that are protesting, are making changes, are adopting Black Lives Matter type agendas into their clubs, and just really just getting involved and finally seeing what we've been trying to say for so long.
Okay, thank you very much. I know that Member Williams also had an in memoriam.
Yeah, this is also another City College student, Miss Lottie Titus. She's a community elder from the Bayview Hunters Point for 30 years. She's a mother, an auntie, grandmother, and beloved friend. She worked with the YMCA, City of Dreams, the George W. Davis Senior Center, and was an active member of the Be Magic Collaborative. And she unfortunately passed away due to some health complications. So, Miss Lottie Titus.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the last in memoriam, and I'm going to turn it over to Member Mandelman in a minute, is for Harry Britt, who just passed today. And you know, I don't really know that anyone can fully express the magnitude of Harry Britt's contributions, and he was so humble that he would never really talk about everything he did. And it's not just the LGBTQ community, but progressive causes, from police reform to so many other things. And, you know, the LGBTQ community has always had a very important presence in progressive politics, and that often gets overlooked. And I'm just grateful to Harry Britt for what he did, and honor that I knew him. So I know that Supervisor Mandelman also had a personal relationship with Harry, and so I will turn it over to Supervisor Mandelman.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Campos. I was looking, you know, there was just a ton of social media today about Harry, and I noticed Carol Migden's post, and Carol was a mentee of Harry's. Said, you described him, Harry was a reluctant political leader, though his intelligence, integrity, and compassion for the powerless always cast a bright light. As Harvey would have done, he fought for the empowerment of our community with real heart, kindness, and foresight. And I don't think any of us could imagine what it must have been like to have to step into Harvey Milk's shoes after he was killed in 1978. But from 1978 to 1991, as you say, Chair Campos, he led both the LGBTQ political community and the progressive political community, pretty much united through that time, and through all the battles over domestic partnerships, and to fight to marches around the wars in Central America. He was there on every issue. It was a time when, there was not tremendous progressive strength on the Board of Supervisors. And so he had to do the work of David Campos and John Avalos and Aaron Peskin and all those folks rolled into one. So I'm grateful that I got to know him. I think all of us who got to know him, as Carol said, he was he wasn't born knowing that he wanted to be a politician. It sort of happened to him, and he had to pick that up. And he was very shy, but he just gave these amazing speeches and could do it just on the cuff, basically, on the fly. So he was exactly what the community needed for those years, and provided great leadership and great mentorship for a lot of us. And he will be missed, but I feel lucky to have known him.
And I know that former presidents of the Milk Club, Morales, Scalata, are wearing the Harvey Milk Club t-shirts in honor of Harry Britt. So we are adjourning our meeting tonight in the memory of some pretty amazing people. Lottie Titus, Vincent Chin, Sean Monterosa, Floyd George, Harry Britt. May they rest in peace, and our thoughts and condolences to their families and loved ones. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone. Be safe out there.